Starting. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So this is going to be the Wegener incident, Call of Cthulhu 7th edition mixed in with a little bit of Cthulhu Rising, which I thought was also 7th edition, but I was wrong. I think it's the 6th edition rule set in that book. But either way, I think it's worked out pretty well. So, so I guess background. I'll pull that up real fast. So background for anyone who's going to be watching is going to be the United Earth Federation takes place in the year 2271. It says the United Earth Federation has lost contract with an exploratory science vessel, the UEFS Alfred Wegener. And forgive me, Micah, if I'm pronouncing Mr. Wegener's name wrong.
Wegener.
Okay. The vessel was sent to a distant star to study a newly discovered planet. When the UEF lost contact, they sent a second science vessel to ascertain what happened. That vessel has also failed to check in. And so, as we pick up, you guys are all have various...
can we call the Alfred E. Newman instead of the wagon?
No.
Morgan, that would be mad. So as we pick up, each of you are all people of various skill sets. Some of you shipborne, some of you not so much. You've been contacted by a group called the Sutton Institute. And the Sutton Institute is a private institution that deals with investigations of unexplainable phenomena. That much is pretty much kind of a widely known thing. And so each of you at some point here in the last week or so have gotten a communique offering you a job and they want you to meet in a small town in Nebraska. It's in the farming communities, corn farming communities in Nebraska, which you think is kind of odd, but you're told to just pretty much go there and everything will be explained. Your contact that you've been given is a Mr. Franklin Jones, and so as we pick up, you guys will have been traveling there by whatever means, your own car, whatever. It literally, the address that you've been given is definitely out in the middle of a huge corn farming area, and there is a farm that the address is for a farm, and as you go in, there's a farmhouse, you know, various farming equipment that you see. One thing that everybody will notice as they come in is that there is a particularly large hangar, for lack of a better term, that's out in one of the cornfield areas there.
They have really large silos here too.
Probably, actually, yes. There will be some corn silos for corn and things like that. But some of you who may or may not be familiar with it, with what a farming community would look like, this looks really big. Out of place kind of big. And you do notice that there are several vehicles around around this hangar, a couple of big trucks, things like that, that also sort of look out of place. And as you arrive to the farm, there is an older gentleman who meets you as each of you come in. He introduces himself as Michael Holbrooks. And his wife Edna Holbrooks, both appear to be in their early 70s. He welcomes you, tells you this is my farm. He welcomes you to the farm, and tells you that if you're here to meet with Mr. Franklin from the Sutton Institute, he says if you be kindly enough to make your way to their hangar area over there, Mr. Franklin will be with you folks in a moment. So as you all arrive and you make your way over there to the, you grab your bags or whatever, and you make your way to the the hangar. You go inside the hangar, and inside, as you come in the door, you will notice that there is an older spacecraft inside. And those of you who are familiar with space travel, you'll recognize that it's a class of it's an old cargo trawler. And it does appear to be, it's definitely got some age on it. It doesn't look like it's in too bad of a shape, but it's probably 50, 60 years old. And she's an old boat. And but there's also, some other, there's technicians, there's cables running. It definitely looks like they've been doing a lot of work to the vessel. You'll also notice that there's a seating area kind of off to the side where they've got several chairs lined up in a couple of rows and a desk. And as you come in, one of the technicians just kind of directs you guys all over there. And then as you go in and you sit down, or you should go over there, you're all there together. And he tells all of you that Mr. Franklin will be joining you very shortly. And he kind of motions over the table, says there's refreshments. I know you guys have had a long trip. There's a couple of refreshments over there, some drinks. Feel free to, refresh yourselves or whatever. Grab a bite to eat. And then he kind of takes his leave and heads back over to continue his work, and which leaves you guys all there.
So I would definitely use the restroom and get some coffee and see if this is a government facility or a private facility, because depending on whether it's one or the other, you could see different flyers, like, how you put up your required governmental posters, like for equal opportunity and all this other crap and OSHA and all this stuff. So a lot of those, usually government people will have to put up no matter what.
Right. So I would say, were you a government employee in your past, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Without having you roll too much, I would say that does not look like any kind of government run.
Okay, so it's some
operation that you've seen. So what you, as you all arrive there, I'll go from left to right. There are currently 5 of you there. Well, there's 5, 6, 7. Hold on, gotta make sure I get all the counting done right. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. There's actually 8 people there. The first person who will introduce himself has a thick, find him again. Sorry. There's a gentleman there with a thick Hungarian accent. He introduces himself as Captain Karlov. And I don't know what a Hungarian accent sounds like, but he introduces himself. He looks like a former military man, but he is not wearing a military uniform. And he introduces himself. He says, "I'm Captain Karlov. I've been hired on as the ship's captain." And that is actually going to be Tom's character, so that's pretty much all I'm going to do for him. The other people that are standing there, there is a young man who kind of looks around, and he says, he walks over. He says, "Yeah, my name is Darren. Darren Vogel. I'm an engineering assistant. I understand one of you was supposed to be a ship's engineer."
Well, I'm Garth Brown. I'm a space drive engineer, not systems engineer. Space engines and things like that. But I can fix other things, but I'm definitely not a systems engineer.
He says, well, no, that's what I meant. Drive engineer is really, that's the important one here. This old bird back behind us, that's why I'm here. I'm the assistant. I get to fix all the other stuff, but you get to take care of the drive. This old bird behind us is normally a short range cargo, but he kind of leans over and he's like, she's been refitted with a whole brand new, in the Cthulhu Rising universe, the faster than light travel is called an F drive. Just so when you hear me reference that. And he tells you, he says, yeah, the F drive one here is brand spanking new, and it's a nice one. So yeah, that's going to be you're pretty much going to be the boss when it comes to that puppy. So he reaches out to shake your hand. He says, well, I'm Darren, and he says, and I'll be your assistant, taking care of whatever you need while you keep that going.
Oh, good, good.
So then there is a very young woman. Looks like she might be 20, 21 years old. Very small Japanese girl walks over, Japanese American, and she just kind of does the little cute girl wave, and she's like, my name is Aki Miyazaki, and she says, I'm a systems technician and computer specialist. And she introduces herself to everybody. And then the last individual that's there, there is a gentleman who looks as though he is a Chinese American. He walks over, and he seems to be one of the things you'll notice is he seems to be in extraordinarily good shape. And he walks over and he introduces himself to everybody. He says, my name is Alex Lee. He says, I'm the ship's medic. He said, so I'll be handling anything medical related on board the ship while we're underway. And gives yourselves a shakes everybody's hand, and I actually have their pictures I can show you. While I'll do that, though, we'll start with Micah, who is playing Irene Rowley, who can introduce herself to the other members of the group.
So what am I again?
You're the warrant officer.
I can't remember that.
So,
Yeah.
a warrant officer is essentially.
Does Irene have drug issues?
No.
Yeah, she's already a little bit older. Come on.
The warrant officer,
like 35
on a vessel.
Yeah.
A warrant officer would pretty much answer to the captain and no one else, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, and you have been hired as the ship's warrant officer.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So
you're in charge because Tom's not here.
yeah, that's your problem. So I would walk over to the coffee and say my name, Irene Rowley, and then raise the coffee mug in a toast. Could be the last time.
Oh, that's a good morale booster.
Oh yeah. Okay. So then after that, I'm sorry. Were you done?
I'm so done.
Okay. Nice. Oh, you guys are in so much trouble with her in charge. So after that is Harry, if you want to go ahead and introduce your character to the group.
So there's a slightly older than I think the rest of the folks guy in a suit, carrying a briefcase, sort of weathered face. I put a picture up in the Facebook, and I'm trying to get it on my Google account, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm standing there kind of nervously when people are reaching out and shaking hands, I don't reach my hand out. Instead, my right hand goes to more nervously cling to the handle of my briefcase. I see Garth or Mr. Brownlee. I'm not sure if I should call you sir, or you look like you might know something about what's going on here. Does that ship look safe?
Well, it looks like an older model, but I assume it has a lot of space miles on it. But I think
that's what I'm worried about.
Sir, are you sure you're in the right place? I say over my coffee mug.
Sort of sidling away from this warrant officer. I don't understand why do we need a warrant officer? This is a civilian. I was understanding that this was a civilian mission we were hired on. I'm sort of drumming my fingers on my briefcase.
Well, I wouldn't worry about the integrity of the ship because we would know in the first 20 minutes of launch whether we would make it or not.
He's right.
Brilliant. So, by the way, one thing you notice about me when I speak, I probably have an accent that's unfamiliar to you because I'm an off-worlder.
Oh.
And I don't know what that accent would sound like, but it's something different from any Earth accent. And I'm probably wearing clothes that are cut not so much out of style, but really just sort of different, just because fashions are different on a, so I make my way over to the coffee, try to avoid the threatening woman with probably who has a gun.
Oh yes, sir. You know though that we can't provide any comfort on the ship, right? Speaking extra loud.
Comfort. I'm used to sleeping out in the bush. Comfort isn't a concern.
So what's your specialty, Mr. Jeffers?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should introduce myself, and I just kind of give a wave with my hand. I'm a professor, xenobiology. Yes, you might have read my holo or viewed my holo videos of some of the wildlife on Alpha Centauri A. But it's been a long time since I've been out in the bush like that. But I'm sure that it will become second nature if I'm required to do that again. That'd be no problem. Yes.
I heard that so often.
And you can actually look down, and I'm probably wearing like hiking boots on my suit. So I am actually the wild, let's say.
Wait, were you the guy that stuck his head in that weird alien's mouth and pulled it back out again?
What?
No, you're thinking of my student, actually. But yes, that's the right. You're on the right track. Very good,
Nice.
Mr. Brown.
So as you're explaining your past with the xenobiology and whatnot, the doctor Alex Lee, who I can finally got his picture for you, looks like that. He's a young guy, young in shape. He will come over to you. And I'm sorry, Harry, what was your character's name again?
It's my last name is Jeffers.
He'll walked over to you and he's like, Mr. Jeffers, I look forward to collaborating with you should the need arise.
Yeah,
Pat you on the shoulder.
sorry, I missed that last little bit.
Oh, I said he just kind of pats you on the shoulder.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I look at ease with him. Yes.
And takes a DNA sample, right?
Yes. All right. So after that, we will come to Clementine McBride, who will be played by Michelle.
She is the pilot. Okay. She has red hair. She's not beautiful, but she's cute, and she's got dusty blue jeans on, and she's just got this just like a Western type, like a typical Western type T-shirt on, and she's got a cowboy hat. And she comes over and she tips her hat and she says, "Howdy, y'all. I'm Clementine McBride, and I will be your pilot for this trip." And then she walks over and she starts getting herself a cup of coffee because she's all about coffee.
I point at her, looking at the professor. She will be responsible for the first 20 minutes.
I thought that was, isn't it an AI that does all that? Where's the android?
I actually laugh.
When you say that, I actually stare over at Alex. I stare a little bit too long at Alex.
And she looks at him and she kind of chuckles and says, "Honey, with me piloting, you don't need an android. I'm all you need."
So,
but regulations say that there must be an android on every crew. One of you is an android. I know it.
Everybody give me a spot hidden.
I missed by 10%.
I'm sorry. You need 2 10-sided die.
210?
Yeah, you're gonna roll D100.
I missed by 10%. I'm not going to burn any luck just to figure out who.
No.
But I suspect it's Alex, so I'm looking at Alex.
And you
I
wanna
say
get under
Japanese
50.
girl.
You think a Japanese girl? It could be a Japanese girl.
Okay, I'm sorry, just rolled 2.
Yeah.
But I
you wanna
can't
get
see a
under
medic
50.
being buff. So
31. Okay. So everybody missed?
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, the 3 of you all. Michelle got it, but the 3 of y'all did not, correct?
I don't hear anything, so.
Okay.
I didn't get it, but I don't hear anything from the suspicious warrant officer.
Yeah. The
So,
What?
oh,
What, are we talking about the role or what?
yeah, do you do your
Yes.
spot
I
hidden?
said no.
oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
only Michelle made it.
All right. So Michelle, as he starts talking about the android, and you like, well, just me on board, or whatever. You do notice there's a as you're facing the group that's talking to you, there's a white, plasticky looking android that's actually walking up, and it comes up behind the rest of the group, and Michelle. I'm sorry, when Clementine makes the comment that with me piloting, you don't need anything else. You hear a kind of a robotic voice who mentions that you may not need someone else, but help is always good to have.
Oh my God, you're a Mark III? Are
As
you
you
a Mark
guys,
III?
as you guys turn around, you see this little thing standing behind you.
Oh my God, it's not even a Mark III. It's one of those Asmos or whatever. They upgraded. Holy crap, we're in trouble.
She goes, you are not in trouble. She walks over to Clementine and kind of sticks her little robot. And it's only like 4 feet tall, by the way. It's a little shorty. And it introduces itself as Dara. I am a DARA unit, which stands for Deep Space Astrogation and Robotic Assistant. And I will be your co-pilot and navigator for the trip.
What's your version number?
I am
Software version.
Oh man. I am the fourth generation 4.5 version.
Well, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, Clementine looks at Darla and says, "Well, darling, I usually prefer to be a solo pilot, but however, on this trip, I will welcome you." And so she holds her hands out and she says, "Welcome to the team, Dara."
And she tells you thank you and tells you that she says, well, you are absolutely the pilot. I am simply here as an assistant and as a navigator. And then she turns and she goes, see you on the ship. And then she starts to walk off back toward the ship again.
She's so cute.
So I was actually going to wait till y'all got on the ship, but since y'all started talking about the android, I'm like, she probably overheard that.
Were we briefed on what the mission is in general before we were summoned here, or at this point, do we? What we're about to do?
You're getting ready to get briefed now. You were briefed that there was a deep space mission. That the pay was good, and it was run by the Sutton Institute, which everybody knows is a fairly legitimate institution. But it does, the pay was kind of too good to pass up. As far as but you were told that the nature of the mission was sensitive and that it would be discussed on site. Which, by the way, once the introductions are made, there's a middle-aged man who you see come through the entrance, starts making his way over to you guys, and he's also dressed in a fairly nice suit, and he walks over, and he's carrying a case with him as well, and a manila folder, and he sets those down on the table. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And he kind of turns to the group who's all huddled around the coffee and donut table there. And he looks over and he says, I see everyone, looks like everyone is here and had a moment to get to know one another. And he says, well, by all means, please come sit down. He says, I'm Franklin Jones. And I'll be discussing with you the particulars of the job.
Oh, everyone is so incredibly nice here. Can we finally continue here? The professor is really curious what this all is about.
Yes.
And I drop in one of the chairs.
He says, yes, well, I do apologize for my tardiness.
This job is dangerous, right? And we are getting paid in advance.
Well, we're going to discuss all the particulars. If you guys want to all just have a quick seat here, and we'll get started. And of course, everybody will have the opportunity to, to decline if need be. However, I really hope that we don't come to that. So he motions to everybody to sit down. And he says, well, as I said, my name is Franklin Jones, and I'm a supervisor with the Sutton Institute. And as you guys all know, or as you may or may not know, the Sutton Institute specializes in investigating matters, unexplainable phenomenon, things like that, where our interests are pretty wide. We're privately funded. Privately but anonymously funded. We are a non-government entity, and so because of my tardiness, I'll be brief. Essentially, what happened was the United Earth Federation had a ship, the Alfred Wegener, that they had sent some probes out and discovered a planet that somehow had previously escaped detection in the Nias system, which is about 12 and a half light years out. It'd be about a 5-week journey once you get into space. And so the Alfred Wegener went to the system and began to run preliminary scans on the planet's surface. And shortly after, the UEF lost contact with the Alfred Wegener about 2 weeks into its mission. And naturally, they became concerned. So there was another vessel, which was a new, very sophisticated science vessel called the Aisling Explorer. And it was only about 5 or 6 light years out. And it was also a UEF vessel. So the UEF decided to send the Aisling Explorer to go ascertain what happened to the Alfred Wegener. And they jumped into the system. They found the ship. The report that I was able to obtain said that the Aisling found the Wegener floating in orbit. The power signatures were minimal, but the life signs on board were massive. In fact, they were more massive than what they should have been for the crew that was originally on board. And they radioed or communicated that they were going to dock with the Alfred Wegener to since they could not get it to answer any communications. And when they did, it was about 14 hours after they docked with it that the UEF lost contact with the Aisling Explorer as well. So at this point, the UEF officially has written both vessels off as lost.
Is there any sort of quarantine because of that?
Well, as of right now, only certain entities within the UEF know of the discovery or of the planet in the Onias system, and they also very few people know of the mission that the Alfred Wegener had been sent there. Once the communications began lost, they kind of went dark on the whole thing.
So out of game, how much do we know about alien life forms and things like that?
You don't.
It's all humans?
Correct.
There's no intelligent, but there is alien life.
Right.
Just haven't found intelligent life.
Correct. I mean, there's like plants and things like that. I mean, terraforming is a thing now. So essentially, basically it's just like in the Aliens universe. There's, they've gone to other planets. They found plants and stuff like that, but they haven't found any. Like he said, there's no intelligent life of any kind.
And then how about the Cthulhu stuff? Is that not known or?
Oh yeah, there's mythos, and there's still.
But is it not widely known, right?
No. It's about as widely known as it is in the 1920s game.
Okay.
That stuff's been kept pretty under wraps.
Okay.
With the exception of a certain few institutes.
Yeah, because there's some other systems like Cthulhu Tech where it's widely known. So.
No. It's still under wraps here. This is just future.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get a chance to read through the book, it's really cool because I know there's if I'm not mistaken, there's a library on Mars that's a massive library, and there's people that are in that library that they know a lot about it and things like that. Various things. That's one of the big mythos research places, is the big library on Mars. But you guys may or may not know that at this point.
So it looks like to me that Mr. Jeffers is in charge of containment, right? There might be something growing in there, like some fungus or something that took over 2 ships. So do we have any equipment to contain whatever we might contact?
Well, the vessel has been, which behind you, he said, yeah, forgive the name, but the vessel behind you is known as the, he kind of gets a little smirk on his face, the Cupid's Arrow. And he says, we didn't have anything to do with that. But we decided not to change the name of the vessel because we thought that it would present a good, it would help you. What's the term I'm looking for? I'm missing
Disguise?
not disguise, but
Obfuscate?
no. Wow. The English language is just, whew. I've been studying too much German lately.
Say it in German.
Yeah, no, I can't say it in German. Holy crap. Yeah.
To
So
take
basically,
the weight of the mission?
no.
No?
The word will come to me in about 20 minutes when it's completely not needed anymore.
So are there
Um,
base guns and stuff in this setting, or are they mostly just normal spacefaring things that just dock and move things around?
the ships can have weapons. Yeah.
Does this ship have weapons?
Just very minor defensive ones. We're not sending you. Were you asking that in character?
Yeah, because
He said, we're not sending you into what we believe to be a combat zone. In fact, I mean, obviously we want to ascertain exactly what's going on, but your mission is going to be, if you feel that you can dock with the vessel and do so safely, fine. If you can't, then there is a protocol in place to, if whatever is going on with these ships is dangerous and presents a danger to humanity at large, there is a protocol in place to scuttle both vessels so that there won't be an issue any further. We're not going to continue. The UEF does not want to continue to have ships falling victim, and we certainly don't want anyone falling victim. What we do, this is what we do. We have to ascertain what exactly is going on here.
Too many words for
Jeffers' hand shoots up.
what?
My hand shoots up, and then you start saying something. Go ahead.
How fitting.
Yes.
Yep.
So he kind of looks between
Go ahead.
Irene and Mr. Jeffers.
Irene probably just talks over him,
Yeah.
saying something about too many words, and
He looks at Mr. Jeffers and says, "Yes, sir."
Is this a commercial mission, or is this a what is it? UAF, UAE,
UEF, United Earth Federation.
UEF. Is this a commercial, or is it UAF? Who is it that we're reporting to here? I'm confused. Are we trying to lay claim to these ships? Does the UAF know that we're going on this mission?
The UEF is aware that the Sutton Institute will be investigating on their behalf, yes. But you will be contracted by and reporting to the Sutton Institute, and by proxy, me. But no, this is absolutely not a commercial mission. It is not to be discussed with anyone commercially. Discretion, which is the word I was looking for a few minutes ago. The whole point of the Cupid's Arrow ship was it will help you maintain discretion and not attract discretion and not attract any attention, you guys are expected to maintain complete discretion at all times. This is not to be discussed with anyone outside of this building.
When's our launch window?
As soon as possible. They should be finishing the vessel. They're basically just doing the last minute calibrations now. The vessel's been refitted with a state-of-the-art F drive, which will allow you to make jumps much farther than this vessel would normally be capable of. Hold on, please. There's been because of the distance of your jump, the ship has been fitted with cryogenic pods for everybody, because you're going to be in space for approximately 5 weeks in transit. And so obviously a ship of this size, it'll be hard to feed 8 people for 12 weeks. So the ship, it's been outfitted with an entirely new communication suite. There's a quantum communications in addition to the normal communication suite, which will allow the quantum suite will allow you to contact the Sutton Institute with any findings with a much reduced chance of being your communications being intercepted or overheard.
So do we have like headsets with each other, like when we're on board the ship, we can talk to each other?
Yeah, yes. And then there'll be there's any tactical gear that you may need, which I don't foresee.
Oh, also, I don't know about the world, but are there long-range sensors, or is it more like Alien, where you can only figure out things by getting onto a ship?
Well, you'll have, it's limited. You'll be able to, like, if you get into to proximity of the vessel, you'll be able to see, is it powered up? What do the power signature look like? Are there life signs being detected? But you won't be able to pinpoint a whole lot. No.
So you mean you could detect there's life, but maybe you can't tell what chemicals are there or what biological signatures, or
right. In other words, you would be able to detect that there's heartbeats, that there's heat signatures that were biological, things like that. But you would not be able to tell the difference between, say, a gorilla or a chimpanzee and a human. Not without getting in there. Kind of.
Okay, so do we also have lab rats and stuff with us to make sure?
No.
Well,
No.
We're not going to have somebody go in there and take a sniff of the air, right?
No, you'll have full. There's full. You'll have gear, environmental gear.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, if we wanted to do tests to see if whatever this.
That's what computers are for.
Yeah, there's an analysis suite on there.
You're just gonna do analysis and tell us it's safe.
Yeah.
Well, you have to get the samples.
Yeah,
you might get and then
we don't use lab rats anymore. That's barbaric.
Yeah, the technology is far enough along that he will be able to do a lot of those kind of testing right on site, and then say, okay, this is safe. Let's put it in this container, and then we can take it back over, because it won't be able to, that kind of thing, if that even is a thing.
Okay.
So this ship is outfitted very well. I assure you.
Then
about the logs of the Aisling Explorer.
Back to payment. Since 2 UEF ships totally went dark, I assume this is very dangerous. I'd like to get paid in advance.
Well, in the contract, the contract does state that you can be paid 75% in advance with 25% upon completion. However, your payments will be held in escrow, of course, basically just to make sure that not that if I thought this was a problem, I wouldn't have hired you in the first place. But the Sutton Institute policy is we don't want to pay people the kind of money we're going to pay just to have you hop on a ship and take off.
Well, that's what you're paying us for.
No, I mean take off and not come back.
Oh, well,
So
I mean, I just have this auction on an antique NASA space suit that I just need to make sure I can cover.
Ugh. You hear that actually from the back row.
all right, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right. He passes out the contracts to everybody and says, if you guys just are willing to sign, we'll be able to leave first thing you'll be able to leave first thing in the morning.
Yep. And she stands up and
Wait.
grabs one.
I don't see a life insurance policy here.
No, all that stuff would probably be in there.
Okay.
Clementine looks around. I think Rolly is a bit ornery. However, I'm always up for a sense of adventure.
Exactly.
All right, so he directs you that there is there's some bunks. Shows you where there's a small like little dorm bunk room area for everybody. But you still have several hours left in the day. If there's anything anybody wants to do prior to takeoff, you have the opportunity to kind of do that now. Otherwise, we can just move forward to launch time.
Yeah, I want to approach him.
Okay.
And I want to, since we're working with the government, I'd like to get access to any communications that the Aisling Explorer sent back. They were docked for 14 hours before they went dark. That means some information was coming back during that 14 hours that could be critical to our mission.
He said, he tells you, I can probably get you a redacted copy uploaded to your station for you to review if you'd like.
Yes, please do that. I will be in my station. I want to go over the equipment on this ship to make sure that it is suitable.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
That's a good idea. Do we have floor plans of both ships? The two ships that.
I don't have one of. Hold on.
I assume they're available, right? Because
Yes.
it'd be good to know what the two ships are like.
Well, I got one for the one you're going to be on.
Yeah, but the two we're going to go to, I assume, since they're UEF ships and they know we're going, we want their floor plans.
Yeah. Hold on. Actually kind of overlooked that one just a little bit, but stand by. No, damn it. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
Oh, there it is. Glaring me right in the face. I don't have one for the Alfred Wegener. I do have one for the Aisling Explorer, but unfortunately, it is a PDF file. It was designed by a friend, but I will.
Well, I don't need to look at it. I just want to know we have them.
Yes, you do have it, and I will make sure that you have it, all that stuff ready for you for the second session, because that's when you're really going to need it. But yes.
And do they have the
Absolutely.
list of the crew for? I want the list of the crew members for both ships, the roster.
All right. He says I can upload all of that. And
Yeah.
all that will be uploaded for you. So
And do we want to know what they were carrying also? Can they tell us what they're carrying? Like,
he can tell you as you mean as far what was on the ship?
yeah.
Well, the Wegener and Aisling Explorer both were just simply science vessels. They weren't actually carrying anything other than
Their
their
equipment.
standard
Okay.
equipment. Yeah.
Okay.
The Aisling didn't take anything with it. It was not already on mission. In other words, it didn't redirect. It was just docked, and
Okay.
so there was nothing of any importance as far as that goes. So, was there anything else, anyone?
Jeffers shoots a glance over at Rowley and says, "Guess all you need is your gun."
Exactly. I'm a simple person.
All right. All
Well,
right.
I think we get this party started.
Right.
All right. So you guys kind of mill about for the rest of the afternoon, and you do have an opportunity to get to know each other a little better, if you so choose. Edna brings out an absolutely delicious country supper for everybody. Really, I mean, puts out a like you'd expect any farm wife. She really puts a whole spread out there, so everybody gets a really good meal the night before. So you guys are able, you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, and all the cables and mess and everything that was strewed everywhere, it looks like it's all been cleaned up. In fact, inside of the hangar itself is really clean. I mean, all the equipment is gone. Everything is completely cleaned out, which is nice. The ship definitely looks like it is ready for launch. And I can give you an idea real fast, I think. Damn it. I got too many folders. So I will give you, whoa. Come on. All right, I can't really set as, edit, create, rotate. It's not giving me the little plus sign, but this is kind of an overview of what your ship looks like from the outside. So it does have one gun.
Looks so big.
It is. I mean, I told you this was a really massive hangar, so it's slightly shorter than an airliner. So, I mean, when I said this hangar was big, it's big. It doesn't quite match the description that I gave you, but there's a little bit of a story behind this particular vessel for me that's a little bit personal, so I like to use it whenever I can. I can explain that later if anybody's really interested. But I've got a complete full floor plan of this vessel too. So, but it's normally it's a 3-engined it's a 3-engine craft. Normally it's always been the model. It's an older model, normally jump capable, but now it's really jump capable, like farther than what it normally would be. And I'll post that up for everybody later too. So let me close this. And all right, so the next morning, you guys are ready to go. So you make your way on board. You carry your gear on. Clementine, as you get near the pilot seat, there's like a little seat kind of behind you and off to the right where Dara is already sitting in. It's kind of like a charging chair, and she greets you as you come on board.
It's okay. I brought a big bag of peanut M&Ms with me.
Clementine looks over at Dara and says, "Well, good morning there, darling. How are you?"
She just kind of seems a little chipper, and she kind of looks over at you and she says, "I'm ready to go," like that, which is a little different. In fact, give me a listen check. Yes, it's always going to be 2d10. And you roll under. What'd you roll?
Is it everybody or?
No, just her, because she went.
Oh, okay.
What?
55.
So what is your skill? And listen. It's alphabetical order.
40.
All right, so you missed. All right. Well, you can tell that she sounds a little different, but you can't really make it out. And the rest of you make your way on board. There is a Mr. Jeffers. There is a up on the second deck. There is a really nice lab area, medical area, galley, staterooms, or the little bunk rooms like that. So everybody on the crew is going to have their own little room. It's got like a double bed in it, a refresher, which is like their bathroom, and a small little desk. And down below is on the first deck where the bridge is. There's a captain's office, a small cargo bay, a conference room area, armory, a small lounge, and a little bay that has like a little tiny 7-seat 8-seater shuttle in it. A machine shop, 2 escape pods, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, the ship really is set up fairly nice. It's just old. So Dara tells you that the ship is all prepped and ready, and so essentially what happens is Dara works her little controls there, and what you notice is the giant, because the way your canopy's laid out, you notice there's a giant, like the roof on this hangar actually will open like this. And as it opens up, the ship uses an old, what they call like a gravity plate design, which basically pushes gravity the other direction. And you're able to fire the ship up, and basically you raise it up out of the hangar like this until you're about 40 feet above, and then you can engage and fly on out. So while you're pulling out, you should have a skill for space pilot or pilot space. So give me a space pilot roll.
We're gonna die.
Actually, mine.
What'd you get?
This is my favorite part.
It's a 99. End of game. Game over, man. Game over.
I know she's been training on this ship before we got here. I know it.
Maybe the robot's gonna take over.
Morgan, do we all have, I mean, Rush, do we all have seats up in the bridge area for this
No, I
sort of
think-
launch?
I think we're in the suspended animation pods, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. No. You don't have to do that until you make until you start actually going faster than light.
Oh, I thought we might as well just go to sleep before we get on a ship. So
No.
if we all die, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
No, you got to take time to get all
Wow.
your stuff prepped. I know, right? So hold on. It should be like 38. Just right.
I don't know
here.
about you, but I got
Just right 38
go ahead.
right here.
38.
Yeah.
Raleigh.
Use that.
What, Raleigh?
You're gonna have to spin.
Were you gonna say something?
So now you're
No.
down to 35. So just
No? Oh, sorry.
Did
line
I?
that out and
No, I
35.
don't think so. It was probably Michelle from the background.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So as we're as we're lifting up, Michelle has to spend 3 luck points.
Oh boy.
At least you didn't have to push it.
No. So as Michelle is trying to bring this vessel out of the bay.
Somebody didn't put enough points in their piloting.
Oh no, she put a lot of points in her piloting. She just had a bad roll. So as the doors open for the roof and she's lifting out, I will let her describe very quickly what happens as she almost bangs this ship into
Almost
the
hits the door.
steel doors.
This is like the beginning of that Star Trek movie.
Yes. Did you disengage the? He's like, shit.
So Clementine is sitting in her seat and she's getting all prepared and she's ready to go and she looks back at Darla and says, "All right, honey, we're gonna go out." And then she accidentally stomps her foot down a little bit too much because she's a very zealous pilot. She's very excited about being on this mission because she hasn't flown in a little while, and being the overzealous pilot she presses on the gas just a little bit too much. She's like, "Oh, I guess I better back off a little bit there." And then she kind of leans back. Well, I don't know how big the ship is, but if it's small enough, she's going to reach down and say, "Oh, I hope everybody else is okay back there."
You hear enjoyed laughter from the back.
Well, she sits there and says, "Well, I guess from the laughter, everything's okay."
And
And Rush is
probably
coming.
complete silence from the rest.
Oh yeah.
Maybe do y'all need some bark
I've
back
been in a lot
there,
of flights. I've
darling?
never had this happen before.
I turned to Jeffers. I go, that's why I usually like them to put me to sleep before we get on board.
But where's your sense of adventure, darling?
So as she pulls out, she's able to get the ship righted again. And you guys begin to lift off into the atmosphere. And in no time at all, she kicks this thing in the pants. And you hear that you feel the kick on, and you reach terminal, or excuse me, not it's a bad choice of words. That's when you're coming the other direction.
Yeah.
I'm going to say escape velocity.
Yes, that's the right one. So terminal velocity.
Yes. And you get off and you break atmosphere into space. So the question I'm going to ask is, I know that Irene, Clementine, and Garth have all been in space before. Oh, you're not affordable. You've been in space before too.
Yeah, Jeffers got to be from the outer space.
Yeah. So this is nothing.
Yeah, I've traveled between stars several times.
And Captain,
That's why I was so shocked at this.
yeah, and Captain Karloff's been out in space.
Yes. Indeed. So you guys
Has
get out.
Raleigh?
Huh?
Hell
Raleigh
yeah.
been in space? I don't know.
That's when she gets her
Yeah, tell me about
bossiest.
Remember, in space, you cannot hear anyone scream.
Or
Yeah.
boss.
Indeed, that's right. So you guys begin to make the trek to the outer. The ship's able to get up to speed, and things, the technology being what it is, within about 5 or 6 hours, you guys make your way to a point where you're. No, you can't basically go right up in as soon as you break out into orbit and just immediately jump because of the pull of the different planets and everything like that.
So
So
you need like gravity well stuff.
yeah, stuff like that.
Planetary gravity wells.
So it takes about 5 or 6 hours of moving at a pretty good clip. You'll get to a spot where Dara will basically work out a navigation trajectory, and at this point, Garth, you're probably back in the going over the F drive itself. Look, you've probably been spending the last couple hours going over it. It is a hot, brand new, state of the art drive. I mean, it's just like this is like for you, this would be the equivalent of a Chevrolet mechanic finally getting to put his hands on a Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
kind of a thing.
This is so cool.
But unfortunately, the Ferrari engine was dropped into a Ford
Yugo.
Pinto or something. Yugo. So it's pretty under the hood, but on the outside, it's
No,
exactly.
that's okay. I mean,
Yeah. The part that you appreciate the most is definitely ready to go. So you guys are able to. Clementine makes the jump, and you guys enter F space, which the way it works in Cthulhu Rising is essentially what an F drive does is it basically punches a hole into another dimension, and you kind of skip along.
Perfectly safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
No wonder
which makes
Cthulhu puts his tentacle into ours.
Which makes me wonder why they don't put us to sleep before we go into F space.
Well, because I mean, it's you punch a hole in another dimension, but the only reason you're going to sleep is because no one wants to mill around on this tiny ass ship for 5 weeks, eating up a bunch of food and water and oxygen and stuff like that. It's more of a logistics issue than anything else. It's not like your body can't handle it or whatever. I mean, and that's the way it's explained it, basically in the book. So, so once you guys get out there and you make your jump, that's when Alex comes around and he says, what kind of speaks to the group as a whole and says, well, we've made we're in progress or in transit. He's like, so really, whenever you folks are ready, we can go ahead and start the process of putting everybody into their pods. Dara will assist me with getting everybody down, and then Dara has been programmed to take care of me getting me into my pod. I'll prep all the pods, make sure everybody's okay, and then Dara will take my readings. And she'll close me up. The ship will power down everything that's not necessary for the flight, and she will go into a standby mode for about the next 36 days or so, and then Dara will, the way the process works, which you guys have all kind of heard, this is kind of a standard operating procedure. I'm the ship's doctor. Dara will wake me up first, and then Dara and I together will then go and we'll start with the captain, and then we'll go down, waking everybody up.
Yeah, I just request after you get the captain that I'm one of the first to come out and then one of the last to be put to sleep, because I want to make sure the engines are okay before, with the longest run before I go to sleep.
Alex looks at you and he says, understand. However, it's usually done in order of seniority. So after the captain, that would be Warrant Officer Rowley. Now, if Warrant Officer Rowley or if the captain and Warrant Officer Rowley say that they would prefer you to get up first, and obviously that's what we'll do.
You see a calculating smile on her lips, but then she waves with her hand. Whatever.
He says, very well. He says, I will, we'll bring you out of stasis right after the captain.
Good, good, good.
So he leads all of you guys to a room that's adjacent to the medical bay, and it's a small room. Hold on one second, please.
Oh, I'm good.
So, go ahead.
So with the trip, because everybody's going to be going to sleep, Clementine looks at Dara and says, "Are you going to be able to handle this on your own, honey? Do you have any kind of fail-safe if something goes wrong with you?"
So she kind of looks at you and she goes, "Oh my God, stop worrying about it. I'll be fine. I've done this like a million times." And give me
simulation.
how many combat drops? And when Dara tells you that, give me everybody give me a spot roll.
No.
Huh?
Nope.
No.
Your spot. Remember, you're supposed to roll under your number.
Did everybody miss?
Is there a
Everybody missed.
You missed.
AI that runs things, or
A
does
what?
Dara run things? I thought that Dara was going into standby mode.
Oh, yeah.
So is there ship's AI that does it?
Hold on just a second. Where's your spot
I
at?
like that there's a dog and
Yeah, he's
a
just
cone
looks
right
like
behind.
Snowy.
You got a
from
13?
Yeah,
That's actually
isn't
a
that a
hard
poor
success.
creature?
He's asleep.
25 is a hard success, and then 10
Goes,
is a
oh.
success. You got
Okay,
a
I got
hard success.
13.
You got a hard success then.
That really looks like Snowy out of Tintin.
You know,
Yes, there is a what they call a gamma level AI on board the ship. I think it's gamma. So basically, because Dara's on board, she's primarily the AI of the ship. There is a gamma level AI with the ship's computer. So basically, the AI of the ship monitors everything, makes sure everything stays on course, and if anything happens that's outside of the very limited protocols, then it will wake Dara up, and Dara will then correct the problem. And if Dara feels that if Dara algorithms determine that it's outside of her parameters, then she will then wake the captain and the pilot. That's the order of hierarchy.
How long does it take to put somebody to sleep or wake them up? Like hours or?
Putting them down from the time, well, so like the time to actually put you out, like where you're completely in stasis, probably takes about an hour and a half, but you'll probably be passed out within about 5 minutes, just
Okay.
like if it was anesthesia.
Okay.
Waking up probably takes about an hour.
Wow. So they have an hour to solve before they get to solve a problem. It's emergency. Oh.
Well, I mean, it's probably, they can probably get you up sooner, but it's just like if somebody were under anesthetic.
Okay.
Wake up,
So,
you can
so
wake them up,
emergency,
they'll just be like, "Ugh."
so emergency have protocols to pump them full of chemicals.
Probably, yes. So, so you got, who else besides Michelle passed their spot roll?
Nobody.
Nope.
No.
not I.
So as soon as Dara tells you that, you'll notice you got a hard success. So you'll notice that Aki, the little Japanese girl, as soon as Dara answers you that way, Aki puts her hand over her mouth like this and kind of snorts and giggles a little bit, and then tries to wipe a smile off her face, and then goes on toward getting in her couch. She was the only one who thought it was funny. So, um, so you guys start going through the process, and of course they put, I'm not going to go really in the order, but basically everybody gets put down into stasis, with the captain going in last, and you guys are put into, now you guys have, as you lay in the thing, it closes in over top of you, and you notice it is very cool in there, and in pretty much no time, each of you, as you go in, you notice that you start to get very sleepy very fast, but it's a comfortable sleepy, and very quickly you just kind of fade out, and you are out, and you will be out for the next 5 weeks. And with
Woohoo!
that,
Get paid for that too.
yeah, that's right. Sleeping on the clock. And so with that, I'm going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and grab another cup of coffee if you need it, take a bathroom break or whatever. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh man, I have
Okay.
a cat in stasis on my lap.
You have what?
I have a cat in stasis on my lap. Oh,
If that cat is like any other cat I've ever owned, once you get your coffee, that cat will get right back in there again.
you know, she's always crying. Then at my feet, I have to pick her up. So, okay, be right back.
5 minutes.
So the android has more computing power than the ship's computer? That's pretty funny.
All right, I'm back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm back. We can die now.
Put it on the stove. Because that's where you were. Mm.
You didn't bring your wife her plate.
Mm.
Oh man, Rush.
Just having a pouch. She's in there making.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Mhm.
woman.
Woman yourself.
I tried to get her to send the youngin to go get her something from Arby's. She says, nope, I just want a breakfast sandwich. So she said, I'm going to put my headset on and make a breakfast sandwich because she can, because she has wireless headset and I don't.
And you
See? and before somebody gets all mouthy, who gave you the wireless headset?
I did. I bought my own damn money.
You lying ass.
No, I went to Best Buy with my own money, thank you.
You bought it with our money, and it was as a wow.
I went to Best Buy to buy it, remember?
And you were like, you like said, please, can I have these? Because your other ones sucked. And I said, absolutely, you can have those. Why do you have to ask?
Oh my God.
She's asking me.
Wow.
Exactly. I was like, you don't ever ask me before you spend the money. Why are you asking me now? Well,
We will have a talk in May.
I'd say she's putting on a show because you're on here right now. That's what this is all
Come
about.
on.
You hear her in there laughing? You hear her in there laughing?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No.
You do. You hear her laughing.
I hear the tears, which she doesn't dare to.
Oh, right. Ooh. Clearly, you have
Not
it wrong.
cool. Right? Not
You're
cool.
gonna get an entirely new education in May and in August. Don't worry.
Wow, Michelle, hear that? He's threatening me too.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever let me have anything. I have to beg for everything.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's terrible, man.
You are so gonna learn who wears the pants in this family.
Yeah, we're not gonna lie, it's me.
Yeah, there we go. This is how bad it is. I borrowed money so I could do the whole thing with the roof and all that. And I said, hey, if there's a little bit of this left over, do you mind if I go to the game store and buy some of this stuff? She's like, absolutely. I'm the one asking if I can spend the money that I borrowed from my retirement. So I don't want to hear no bullshit. I married a Texas woman. You really think that? Yeah, you think I'm in charge? Whatever.
I
am. All right.
Toilet paper. Yeah.
All right. We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, as you guys fall asleep, and it's kind of as cryosleep is, it's kind of weird. It doesn't, you'd think after being asleep for 5 weeks, it would literally feel like you'd slept for 5 weeks, but it doesn't. It feels like you had like a 2-hour power nap, basically. And as you start to get woken, Garth, you get woken up by Alex. And he's like, your thing comes open and you kind of groggily come awake, and I said it's like a power nap, but you are kind of groggy, and it takes a while to get the blood flowing. And of course, it's cold as hell as you're first coming out. And he after he wakes you up, he very quickly, it's like he basically looks at you and he's like, are you okay? Kind of a thing. And he gives you just a moment to answer. And then immediately he moves over to Irene's pod and frantically starts working to get her pod open. Did you want to do anything?
Yeah, I would like clear my throat and everything, and then are we supposed to wake up while still in the F drive still running, or after we jump out?
You'll be about 24 hours out from dropping into the NIS.
I want to feel the vibration of the ship to see if the F drive is still running normally. Just the standard. Does it seem okay?
Shit. Don't you have a skill for drive systems?
Yeah.
Give me a roll on that.
35. I have regular success.
Okay. So from what you could tell, when you first launched, the ship was a little, it probably rattled a little bit more than maybe some of the newer vessels that you're used to. Once you got out into space, though, everything kind of settled, you know. And as you're moving through, you know, if you try and reach to feel if the ship is doing anything, it actually feels really smooth. Actually, like you cannot detect any kind of knocks or pings or anything going on with the ship at all. Everything feels pretty good.
Good, good, good. Then I would go get dressed.
You're really silent.
Yes, eerily silent. So after that, and of course Dara is there at a she's at a small station, and she's assisting Alex as he's operating the pods to get them open. She's monitoring from a little station there in the center of the room. And so then she moves to Irene's pod. And Irene, you go through the same process. You know, you wake up, it's, you know, it's freezing cold, but you know, you're like, you know, trying to get yourself woke up. Feels like you've been sleeping really hard. And then you come to, Alex comes into focus. And did you, as you get your vision back and everything, was there anything you wanted to say to him first?
Oh, get out of my way.
So as you start trying to push your way out of the pod or whatever, he helps you out, but you notice that he keeps a hold of your arm, and he kind of leans over, and he tells you, you may wish to, you need to go over and
What?
by the, he seems to be obviously shaken. He's like, there was a malfunction with there's a malfunction with the captain's pod.
I glance over. Do I see some lights blinking?
There is
It's not too obvious.
Well, on the captain's pod, on the little info readout, there is a couple of blinking red lights, which is not what you see as you glance around. And he kind of brings you over to the pod, and he tells you, he says, I don't know, I'm not sure what happened, but something happened with the life support inside the pod. The captain isn't dead, but he is suffering from an extreme case of oxygen deprivation inside the
You're
pod.
the doctor. Make it right.
Well, I'm going to try, but I'm going to tell you right now, the kind of deprivation that he's suffered over the last 5 weeks, there's going to be a pretty good chance of some significant brain damage. But I'm going to have to keep him comatose. I'm going to have to, once I get everybody up, we're going to move him to the medical bay. I've got life support pumping the oxygen in, but I'm going to have to move him to the medical bay and keep him comatose for a while and try to bring him up slowly.
Fantastic start.
It
Well
is.
then, go ahead, get everyone up.
Yes, ma'am. So after that, he then moves to, of course, he moves to Clementine's pod. He opens her pod up. And was there anything you wanted to? Excuse me.
She's just gonna yawn and stretch and where's the coffee?
He tells you it's in the mess hall, ma'am. Then he moves to is Mr. Jeffers a Dr. Jeffers, or is he just would he be a doctor in xenobiology, or
Professor,
You know, I
right?
have a high education, but according to the rules, you have to have like a 90 or 95 to be a professor. I'm not quite there, so
Isn't
I
that
think I'm
only guideline?
well, if it's a guideline, then yeah, I think it would make sense. I'm 87 education. So
Yeah.
You're probably a
Uh,
professor.
That's definitely professorial level.
Yeah, unless you don't want to be a professor.
no, I think it makes sense that I'd be a professor.
Absolutely. Okay. So as he as he Wake brings you up out of your pod, he kind of comes into focus. You see Mr. Lee there, and he's Professor Jeffers. He's like, "Are you feeling okay?"
And I'm flailing my arms around, trying to get a hold of like a glass of water or something. Something that got something in my throat.
He hands you a bottle
Alex.
of water.
Thank you. So are we there yet?
Almost. We're one day out. But Mr. Professor Jeffers, if you don't mind, I could use your assistance if you would, please.
Is he the last one?
He is the well.
Of course, I'm the last one.
He's the last one of the players. Yeah, there's still I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that Aki and Darren were already woken up.
Is there like a button for a ship-wide?
Intercom?
Yeah.
They're probably not in this room, but probably in the on the bridge.
Okay, I go there
Conference room too.
and I hit the button.
Okay.
This is Rowley speaking. I'm taking over. We have some serious issues with the captain's pod. So to everyone's joy, you will answer me from now on. Proceed with your jobs.
I say to Alex, what qualifies her to lead this mission?
I have the pistol.
Alex looks over because you're on the bridge. They're still in the cryopod room, and he leans over and he says, "Well, she is the warrant officer. That's her job."
And she is the most ornery out of the group.
Yes. So he asked you if you would assist him, please, in moving the captain to the medical bay. He asked that.
Yeah, of course. And then I asked him, what's wrong with the captain? And I have pretty decent medical skills, so I'll double check that things look like what Alex is telling me they look like.
Yeah. Well, he like I said, he gives you the whole rundown about the oxygen deprivation and this, that, and the other. He's definitely Alex definitely seems to be very proficient. He definitely is doctor level in his knowledge. So he starts giving you. He says, "We're going to take him into the medical bay. We've got to get him on constant oxygen, monitor all of his vitals. I want to hook him up to an EEG machine and monitor his brain. I'm really concerned right now for any lasting brain damage. So
yeah, this is serious. Let's get to work. I'm sure we've got some seriously advanced medical systems on board here.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent medical base. So you guys get him in there, and there is a bed that you can get him into, and Alex immediately begins hooking him up to any number of machines, and puts leads on his around his head and everything like that. And you're able to notice by looking that his life signs are they're stable but weak. And he kind of hooks him up to the EEG, and he kind of looks at it. And he's like, shakes his head, and he's like, hopefully that'll get better as he continues to oxygenate himself. So
Yeah, we've got to get him fixed up. Otherwise we're in the hands of that mad woman.
he kind of chuckles a little bit and says, "Well, she seems to be a little crabby, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have her on here if she wasn't fully qualified. She just may not.
I raise my eyes up. Go ahead.
So she may not be as personable as maybe the captain here was, but you know, I'm just a doctor, man.
We're both like, have our heads down examining the captain, and I raise my head and look Alex right in the eyes and say, "So, do you work for the Sutton Institute, or are you a freelancer like myself and the flight engineer?"
I'm a freelancer, but it's not the first time I've worked with the Sutton Institute in the past. I've done trips with them before.
They go well? They go smoothly?
Yeah, to be honest with you, we usually would go somewhere, investigate something, and nothing ever came of it. So it's kind of boring. At least this one promises that we might actually have something to do. But so far, not too much.
All right. Well, when I get finished helping Alex with the captain, I want to go over to the life sciences station and make sure everything's in order.
Okay.
So,
All right.
everybody's awake, right?
All right, so you go check those out, and everything seems to be, other than the mishap with the pod, everything seems to be checking out okay, and as you go around the ship, it looks to be in pretty good condition. So there is room for everybody. Once you guys get the gear stowed and you check on everything, there is room on the bridge for everybody to be able to come up and have a seat. Not exactly stations for everybody to have something to do, but there are seats on the bridge where you can just kind of buckle in and be along for the ride or whatever. So other than monitoring for anything with the captain, is there anything anybody else wanted to do?
That's me now, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so
Keep an eye on
everyone
it.
knows.
Monitor that, captain.
Well, Clementine's got herself a gigantic cup of coffee and just walks over to Darla and says, "Darla, why don't we go ahead and head on over to the bridge of the ship and see what this girl is like right now?"
She kind of looks at you and she goes, "You betcha." And she follows you.
Yeah, I just check on the engine, and that's all. And then head back to the galley for food.
So everything checks out with the engine. As you guys get to the bridge, the ship appears to be functioning, well, pardon the pun, but everything appears to be ship shape. So, and you guys get to the bridge, and there is a station there where you can go through the I think it was Professor who asked about being able to go through some of the communication logs.
Yeah.
So
I want to know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah. So if somebody were to start combing through kind of that, what kind of a skill would that be? Would it be like library
Data analysis?
Yeah. Does that sound about right, Morgan?
Yeah, it's either library use, or if there's a in Delta Green, there's a signal intelligence, but I don't think they have anything like that.
No, this is just more basically going through. It'd almost be like combing through Word documents on it.
Yeah, it would just be library use, and then if it's just looking through it, even a failure would be okay. It just takes longer. Unless there's something super hidden, then you can determine a higher success.
Do you have library use, Harry?
Well, I have base libraries, but I also have data analysis if things get
data
if
analysis.
there's anything hidden in there.
Yeah, data analysis will do too.
Okay, we'll do a data analysis roll then.
And made it by 1 point. Woohoo!
All right, so as you're combing through the logs, and anybody else who kind of wants to sit there with him or whatever, you do find communications. The communications that come from the Alfred Wegener, basically, from what you can read, that's not redacted, is they were, just to give it to you in very short form. The logs, the communication logs, are basically them going back and forth, talking about, arrived at this planet, conducting scans. There's like a kind of a heavily redacted section there when they talk about running scans. There's some information about wanting to send a team down to the planet's surface to explore an anomaly. And there's some communications going back and forth about that. Then there is a giant section of redaction after that. And then toward the bottom, after the redacted part, the large redacted area, it says, you see something about artifact on board, or anomaly on board. And then it says, we'll contact again in 3 hours after preliminary analysis. And then that's the end of the transmission logs for the Alfred Wegener.
Okay, interesting. It's annoying that they are redacting the information about the anomaly. I guess we'll just have to find it for ourselves.
Oh, are you going to tell us what you found?
Yeah, I'll come running into the bridge with like essentially a printout. Although I probably don't use paper printouts anymore.
No.
Really, they redacted the one they're sending us. Those assholes.
Yep.
Run here, Professor. That's dangerous. So what did you find?
No running in the bridge.
No running around the pool.
No running.
Do we have artificial gravity on, or are we floating around?
I assume we have artificial gravity.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't think it says in the book, but for the sake of ease of play, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
If you can jump through a dimension in
Yeah.
space, you should be able to generate artificial gravity.
Yeah, and I guess you did say that we were doing reverse gravity to get ourselves up off the initial landing pad.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So I go out there. It's probably like some sort of situation table on the bridge, and I lay out the stuff that I've found and
It's basically like a data pad.
bring up the screens and point out stuff about, look at all this redaction. They sent a team down to the planet. I don't even understand how this planet was missed by the original survey. But somehow they got there and they found an anomaly on the planet, and they brought it on board, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Is
there's
that
also,
common
basket filter.
practice to bring anomalies on board?
Well, that's what the word says.
Yeah, too bad they redacted everything that was important.
now there's also logs for the Aisling Explorer as well. So
Yeah, we should look at those. Now my curiosity is piqued. Can I look at those?
I don't know about anybody else, but this makes me a tad worried.
Really? Can I do data analysis on the other logs?
yeah, you guys can both look through it.
Oh, I missed.
We'll let
All right, let me have a look at that. You need to sort it by this column. Oh, I erased it.
Oh, do you use Dell?
what did you roll?
I rolled a 95.
Oh,
Oh, thank God. That's
You didn't roll 96, so you're good.
Yes.
is that what it takes as a 96?
Oh no, if your skill is 50 or
under.
well, I guess 49 and under.
Yeah.
96 to 100 is a fumble. If your skill is 50 or above, then you need to roll double odd.
Nice. All right.
Oh, wait. Here's the recover from trash can.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, maybe push it.
So it takes a long time, but hold on. What you basically get out of that is there's communications back and forth. Again, in the short form, Aisling Explorer communicates that it jumped into the Onias system. It discovered the Alfred Wegener. They mentioned that there are, like Mr. Franklin had told you, the ship was running on minimal power, but there were very strong life signs on board the ship. Life signs. The original crew of the Wegener were approximately 15. Were 15 crew members, but the kind of life signs that they're reading from the ship would be indicative of double or triple that number. He states that the ship is not responding to any kind of communications of any kind. The log states a visual inspection of the vessel. He notates that the outer hull had what looked to be some kind of crust that had formed over large portions of the outside of the hull.
Some sort of space growth? That's unusual.
Well, it doesn't say anything. It just he just uses the term crust.
Didn't you mention fungi growth or something like that? Brown? What's your name? Brown?
Well, I just said that offhand. I mean, but now that there's extra life forms, which doesn't sound good,
Yeah.
and there's something growing on the outside of the hull.
Mhm.
I think maybe we should, when we get there, we should take a sample from the outside. Well, let's take another look.
Yeah.
Visually, and then
yeah.
scan it, and then maybe take samples.
Well, the remainder of the logs basically talk about noticing the crust. After discussion with the security team, they decided to dock with the Alfred Wegener and send a team across. So then there's some redaction, and they then discuss artifact. There's some communications that that an artifact had been found in the Wegener's cargo hold. Package moved from Wegener's cargo hold to Aisling Explorer. Then there's some redaction, and then there's a communication that has to do with security team lost on board Wegener. And then it mentions that something about the crust moving onto the Aisling Explorer.
What?
And then there's some more redaction, and then it says that the Johnson, the chief scientist, Aisling Explorer, this has decided to apply power to the anomalous artifact. And
That was a good idea.
then he
None of this
says,
sounds like a good idea.
yeah. Then
And these are scientists.
yeah. Well, there's a report that the growth, or the crust, has receded back to Wegener. But crew experiencing headaches, and androids are beginning to malfunction. And then there is then that's the end of the logs.
So I go, Captain Rowley, so what is your intention then?
Well, I think your suggestion take.
Uh-oh, you muted.
Take samples?
We lost her.
Nope, you muted again.
Now?
No,
You're okay,
you're
now we
good.
hear you.
Good.
You
That's
muted
so
it.
weird. I wasn't muted when you said I was muted, but something is sometimes wrong with that button. I don't know. Oh shit, what did I say? What did you ask?
What's your intention? Because it looks like the first two groups, they ran into this weird thing, found anomaly, they took it on board, and then they got this weird thing all over their
Yes,
ship.
we will definitely take nothing on board here.
Good.
Let's first arrive there. There might still happen something on our way there. I mean, we just have to look at the captain.
I mean, they even said they lost their whole security team. I mean, and I look at you like you're our security team.
Well, first, we do what you said. We will get a sample. We will take nothing on board aside from that sample, and we definitely won't go on board of the other ships before we don't know what's going on there.
Okay. And does it look like the only way to get a sample is to do an EVA in a spacesuit and then get close to it and then clip it? I assume that's the best way, because if we dock, then we touch the other ship, which is not a good idea.
No, we definitely.
So then I need instructions from our exobiologist and our doctor on what's the best procedure for getting a sample. So I guess we'll work on figuring that out.
Okay.
Sure.
Because we'll get a sample.
We'll know more once we've seen the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are about, at this point, after getting everybody woke up, the captain taken care of, spending several hours combing through the logs, this, that, and the other. You're about 12 hours out from the ship being ready to drop into the Onias system. So, is there anything that anyone wants to do for their characters or whatever before we? Because basically, it'll be time to go to sleep, wake up, and then you're expected to drop out the time that you're keeping on board. You're still keeping the Earth time, so it would be the equivalent of around 9:30 in the morning is when you expect to reach your destination.
I hit the button again. And I say,
You love that button.
"Oh yeah, that's
Even though
that's
everybody's in
the
the
captain's button. I don't care if everyone is here. That's power." So I press the button and I say, Raoul is speaking again. So I want everyone to have their fill of sleep, drink your coffee, go to the restroom, and be ready in 12 hours. I don't want to see anyone in the restroom when we're supposed to work. I want to finish this ASAP. Captain out.
I go up to the pilot's seat. I imagine that's where Clementine's sitting. If there's an empty co-pilot seat, I'll drop myself into that. And so once we drop out in 12 hours, we still have like a sub FTL insertion, correct? Before we get to this ship, in orbit around the planet.
Oh, is he asking me?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, she looks over at Jefferson and says, "It's going to take about 3 hours for us to get there,
I thought.
unless I've had enough
I just
coffee.
mumble under.
If I've had more coffee, it
Mumble
may
under my
only
breath.
take 2."
So we've got 3 hours to go to the bathroom after we come out of FTL.
And not a minute more. All right. All right. So is everybody pretty much done what they want to do then?
Unless there's some sort of preparation we can do in terms of what Brown, is it Brown or Brownie?
Brown. I would just say it's Brown.
Morgan. Brown was talking about getting together a protocol for taking a sample of that crust. If there's something that we can do in terms of rigging up a claw or something, and if we need to prep any sort of sample jar that we can then bring analysis without whatever we do for
Sorry.
hygiene, interspatial biological contamination stuff.
All right. Hey, can you guys, I hate to do this. I just got a text message. I need maybe 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, if anything, I would just prep stuff, like check over the spacesuits, check over all the EVA equipment to make sure they're all good, right?
So are you going to go out on your own? That doesn't seem like a wise idea.
Do you want to go out there too?
EVA, no thanks. But I bet Rowley's good at that.
I suggest building a claw. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like life-saving.
No, but if you do a claw, then it's attached to the ship, and then the thing gets onto the
True.
claw, and then the stuff gets onto the ship, right?
Well, maybe we can construct a drone or something.
Oh, I see. Maybe we should see if there's a drone, like a drone thing on the ship.
Yeah.
You would think they
An
would, right?
arm.
But if not, then I'll eat out there. And then you guys will have to lock me out if I get infected. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Then you hear
Maybe
pound-
the android can do
Let me
EVA.
in. I only have 5 hours of air. Let me in. And then every once in a while you hear pounding on the hull, right? As you.
Oh, terrible.
And then the pounding gets weaker and weaker.
Oh my god.
And then I get to play the Japanese girl.
No, let's avoid that. Why did you choose the Japanese girl? We have
Because
the
that would be
doctor.
annoying. Because that would be
Oh
annoying.
my god. So you want to punish us?
Yeah, I go, Riley's son. And then
Oh
Twitter.
my god. No, I keep you alive.
Yeah, see?
No matter what cost.
No. Unless you kill
Sacrifice the professor.
unless you kill the
What?
but no, if you kill her
I
first.
know how it is. Civilians last. Yep, I got the message.
But you know, if you kill the girl first, then it's safe to kill me, right?
True. Huh.
Oh,
Don't give me ideas.
do that.
Yeah.
Back.
Actually, well, she was for 2 minutes or something, but now she's gone again.
Yeah, he's probably doing some work stuff right now. So.
He?
Rush,
cat?
so he'll be gone for a while. Oh, the cat?
Yeah.
Or the dog? The dog's still there.
Oh, I heard cat. What did you say, Harry?
Yeah, I was talking about your space cat.
Oh, is your cat? Is your cat back?
No.
So after you got coffee?
Yeah, she came back for a few minutes and then she went away again. Cat love is difficult.
That's what makes the cats good.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Dogs are too needy, right?
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. My best friend of 27 years, his dad just passed.
Oh.
Like, kind of unexpectedly.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And I grew up in that house practically, so but he's at his mom's. So we're good, we're cool. You know,
Okay.
if I go over to see him, it won't be till later on tonight. So
they're local too. Oh, okay.
yeah, he only lives about maybe 10 minutes down the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no, we've always been we've both of us grew up right here in town together. But yeah, he when I got that text, I'm like, oh sweet Jesus, and I was like, I had to go call him right then. So so yeah, sorry, didn't mean to bum everybody out, but that's what's going on with that. So anyway, well, that sucks. All right, so
Listen, we don't have to continue if you need a breath.
No, I'm
That's
good.
really fine.
I'm good. Michelle's gonna go in there and get her a drink, something to drink, but no, I'm fine. If anything, this will keep my mind off of it for a little bit.
So we're wondering if the ship had any type of drones.
There are probes that you can send to.
We have alien probes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that kind of probes. No, there's none of those kind of probes either, you dirty woman.
What? I don't even know what a probe is.
I wasn't talking to you, sweetheart.
Oh.
It was the other darling.
Okay.
Oh, you don't know what alien probes are, Micah?
I won't even tell you what my wife said.
It's probably something dirty now that
you need to look it up. UFOs and alien probes. Just Google that.
Mm-hmm.
A probe is a little.
I don't want those pictures.
Well, just the words. You don't have to look at the pictures.
A probe is like a little unmanned capsule that can fly away from your ship and take readings of things.
Okay, where's the dirt in that?
Well, because probe also is something that you can stick into an orifice for medical reasons.
And there are stories.
That's my specialty.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God!
And there are stories of alien probes of UFO sightings where
Yes.
I
aliens
didn't want to have those pictures of the professor. Damn it!
where aliens abduct humans and do probes on them
Yes.
for
Oh,
unknown reasons,
damn.
which is
Unknown reasons.
yeah, it's a big UFO conspiracy literature thing, which everybody sort of
Yes.
smirks at because
Oh, I should have played.
You should have. Okay. Well, how about that? All right. So there are some probes that you can launch.
but no drones.
No drones. There
Do
are
we have
two-
a shuttle?
you do have a little tiny shuttle that seats 8 people. Very
Yeah.
short ranged.
You need that. I think it looks like an EVA for me then.
Yeah. The
Do
only
we can use the shuttle and put some arms on there.
No.
Why no?
It's just a shuttle. It's a minivan. You can't tack
Yeah.
a
Why
minivan.
not?
well, are you talking about mounting guns on it or just using
No.
They're talking about
Yeah.
mounting like a remote
Oh.
hands or something.
Claw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
claw,
No,
claw.
if you're gonna try and take samples from the hull, you're pretty much at this point gonna have to get out there and do it manually.
Yeah, I figure it has to be EVA.
I just wanted to keep you safe, sir.
I know,
So,
but-
yeah,
No, it's great ideas.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
I don't
he
think
just
the
wants
ship
to
is-
play the Japanese girl. God damn it.
Do you miss that
Man.
conversation? I said, well, I have to go out there, and if I get infected, then you have to lock me out. And then, I'll yell through the intercom, I only have 5 hours there. Please let me in. And they won't let me in. And then every hour or so, you hear pounding on the hull, and it gets weaker and weaker. And then I'll have to play the Japanese girl.
Yeah, and be really annoying to punish us. But we have to avoid that for all costs.
Yes, indeed.
And then Raleigh goes, that's one reason we can't let you die.
Yep.
Indeed. All right. So the next, you guys, you are able to get some equipment together that you would need to be able to probably cut a sample away without you having to like literally reach and grab it with your hands or whatever.
Yeah, there's some equipment, right? But I still have to do
Yeah.
yeah, I assume.
So you guys, you hit the racks again. You wake up, and you wake up about, I want to say probably get about around 7:30, and you're scheduled to drop out in about 2 hours. So if no one has anything they want to do first thing in the morning, we will let Clementine drop the ship out of F space and hopefully not F up.
And I assume,
Strap yourselves in.
So-
the distance we drop out of is far enough that it's like maybe, miles away, right? When we
Yeah,
drop
it's
out.
Clementine said earlier when Jeffers asked that when you drop out, you're still going to be about a 3-hour flight out.
Oh, okay. So we can
There.
bring up our telescopes and sensors to see whether those two
Yeah,
ships are still there and check how they are.
So as you're flying, Dara basically alerts you, Clementine, that you're coming up on the Onaya system and you're about to hit your exit point. And at that point, you assume the controls monitor that'll be down there, and you need to give me a pilot roll without rolling them into the floor. Where'd it go?
Sounds like you need a dice tray.
Yeah. And
I'm scared now.
I've got like a 10-foot long computer table that I built that our computer's set on, and neither one of us can keep dice on it.
Yep, you need a dice tray.
Yeah.
38.
Okay. So what's your...
I think it's because Michelle's too excited. The people roll dice are too excited. The dice just goes everywhere, right?
Yes. So she almost got a hard success, but it's just standard. So
That doesn't kill us.
no,
Don't you
actually, she
dare.
very expertly brings you out of F space. So you feel this weird feeling as you start to punch back through into the real space dimension, and there's just the slightest bit of a shake and a shimmy in the ship, and you drop right out, and notice that you're kind of out toward the edge of the Onias solar system.
Not bad.
Your pilot space. Put a check mark next to pilot space because you had a successful, and your spot hidden too. That means you use that skill successfully, so you get to roll to.
Hey.
All right, sorry about that. So you're in the Onias system. It's got 5 planets. And you guys are going to be heading for the planet Onias 4. Did anybody want to do anything before we approach the last known position?
Well,
Say engage.
Yeah, do we have scans or visual equipment and stuff to just double check everything out there and see there's not like little pebbles or lots of little ships or something out there?
Well, visual scanning, obviously, due to the vastness of space, you're not really going to pick up much.
Okay.
You do pick up that you are indeed in a solar system.
Yay!
Yeah, I know.
Well, there are other
what?
other dimensions.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so
unless anyone else has, does anyone else have sensors as a skill?
I don't think that was a choice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was part of your occupational. It was it would be part of your occupational package that was in the book. Okay. So in that case, that will be Dara, who will. Okay. So Dara immediately begins working at her little console, interfacing with it the way that she does. She's plugged in. She can type, and she's also plugged in. And she confirms that you guys are indeed right on target as far as where your destination. And she says long-range sensors are detecting what looks to be one large vessel, or there is a vessel in orbit around Onias 4. She tells you that it appears on sensors at this range, it appears to be one larger vessel, but she says if the two are still docked together, that they will very possibly show up as a single.
Yeah, or some growth have grown between the two now.
Yeah. She said 2 ships docked will often show up on sensors as one ship at this range. She won't be able to determine that until you get closer.
And they're in the position that we expect them to be in based on last known positions of the ships.
Yeah, they're in a low orbit around Onias 4.
Were they in that position when the last transmission was sent?
I'm sorry?
Were they in that position when the last transmission was sent from them?
Yeah, the transmissions, the logs you did, both ships had said, well, the Wegener, Alfred Wegener said that it had taken orbit around Onias 4 because that was where they were going, and of course,
because I was just wondering whether the ship had moved or whether it's just stayed in orbit, like if somebody piloted it to a different orbit from where it should be.
Oh, there's nothing in the transmission logs that say that the orbit has been decaying or anything like that. That would probably might be on the ship log, but
yeah, we're just double checking if it's in a higher or lower orbit than it should be, then we would be worried that it's moved, right?
It's in an orbit. Dara confirms that it is in a standard low orbit. That would be commensurate with the ship's mission.
Okay.
So let's start getting readings from the planet, since this is a heretofore undiscovered planet. They found an anomaly of some sort. Do we pick up any other anomalies?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. So
Very
as you get closer to the planet, Dara can try to use the ship's sensors for that, and all right. So she gets a hard success on that one. So as you approach, Dara is looking down at her console, and she looks up and addresses the Miss Rowley and the rest of you by proxy. But she says the preliminary scans show lots of life readings, vegetation mostly, photosynthesis, possible what appears to be simple animal life, but that's about all that she can determine with the capabilities of the sensor suite that she has.
Is the atmosphere breathable?
She says that the atmosphere contains the nitrogen level is too high for it to be breathable without a respirator. However, there are no corrosive chemicals present, and atmospheric pressure is within human tolerance.
So basically, we have supplemental oxygen. You can survive there for a bit. Okay.
Correct. She does tell you that the planet is also, the temperature is within. The planet is very warm, but not outside of human tolerance either.
Okay.
I come up super excited at this news and want to look over all the data. And I'm like a kid in a candy store jumping out of my skin. And I look over at Rowley. You better get on the that quantum communicator. Sutton Institute will want to know about this planet. Discovery of a garden planet it's the best kind of planet you can find.
I'll raise a hand. Slowly, Professor. First, we will check if this planet will be a harm to anyone. Then we will share with the civilians.
Like a scolded child, and go back to looking at the data logs.
Finally, go back to my.
And don't run.
Don't. Yes, don't run. All right. So within a very short couple of hours, you are able to bring your target does come into visual range, and you do have sorry. There are 2 docked vessels in low orbit. So one of the vessels looks like the what you saw when you accepted the invitation. So the Vinegar. Am I saying that right, Micah?
No,
You're saying it like vinegar.
I am.
Vinegar. I thought I misheard.
No, but I know I'm saying it wrong.
Wegener.
Wegener. Okay. I mean, he is a German explorer, so I want to make sure I at least pronounce the man's name right. So, all right. So the Wegener looks like this. All right. So it's got an old a ring around it there. It's, fairly decent sized ship. And attached, why does it always do that? Okay, there we go. Attached to it is a vessel that looks like these. Here's the
I
best.
pressed the button.
Press. Oh, hold on, let me show you the picture first. Button
Captain,
mashy.
I can press the button whenever I want.
Gosh damn it. All right. This is the Aisling Explorer right here. Whoops, right here.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like, and it is attached dorsally. So it means that there's a, well, this one here, you can see a small shuttle attached to it. So there's a little dorsal dock there, and it's basically turned sideways and stuck to the side of the Wegener. Yeah.
I press
So-
the button now.
Yes, press the button now.
And I say, so I want to know if that's a plant or an animal. Proceed.
Are you talking about the crust?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, I
I'm just assuming everyone has a base intelligence and knows what the problem is here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So I guess we get close enough for an EVA, and then I'll do an EVA with whatever.
Well, hold on. Let's first.
Oh, let's look at it and do a
Yeah.
scan, right?
Jumping the gun there, Brown. Okay.
Let's
First of
do a
all,
scan.
looking in the ship's copious logs of xenobiology and my personal experience, is there anything that I've heard of that forms, well, first of all, that lives in outer space, second, that forms crusts around ships in outer space?
Well, if y'all want, I can take a buzz around the ship and you can all take a 360-degree view of it if you prefer.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, at a distance,
Yeah.
with no chance of bumping into it.
All right. So that being said, what is our at a distance going to be? How close do you want to get for a visual inspection?
Well, we have, I assume, visual equipment, so even if we're a mile away, it's right.
You are.
Like a mile away around, like we ordered around a mile away, right?
There's no danger in you, is there, huh?
No, sir. In a mile, we could definitely see with like optical equipment and sensors
All
to,
right.
to zoom in.
With turning a giant circle around the ship from a mile out, you do notice there is a brownish, reddish, and for lack of a better description, like a brownish and reddish crust. It hasn't formed over the entire Wegener, but it's coated about. All right, so what we'll say is basically it's covered the primary hull, but the ring has pretty much been left alone, but it's coated most of the primary. What you do notice, though, is that it does not appear to be zooming in with your visual equipment. You notice it does not appear that the Aisling Explorer has any signs of the crust on it at all.
Oh, that's weird.
And in
Brown.
fact, where the Aisling Explorer is touching the Wegener, there's actually a small patch around that spot that is also not being. The entire primary hull is pretty much been coated over, except for where the Aisling Explorer is touching.
They said they were powering up some anomaly, and did they said they moved it somewhere? Did they move it back to the one that's not infected?
I believe so. Or no, they said the crust went back to Wegener.
So I'm not clear. Which one has the crust on it?
It's Wegener.
Guys, Rush may be crashing because nobody can hear him anymore, and his
Yep.
camera has stopped.
But we
Yeah,
can hear you.
he's frozen.
He's frozen.
He got
He got too
caught
close
by
to
the
the anomaly.
spores. Yeah, he did. He got too close to the ship.
Oh no!
Oh, I see him moving.
Hopefully he doesn't get
hear
a
him.
crust.
I see a crust forming around his lower jaw.
Yeah. I can't hear him. So I'm still not clear. So the original ship has the crust, and I thought they said they moved the
Yeah.
artifact back to the original ship and powered it up.
I'll read my notes.
Okay.
So when the Aisling Explorer got there, there
moved
was
it.
some information about Wegener. Sorry, Morgan?
Yeah, I remember they moved it from Wegener to the Aisling. Right?
Yeah, so they saw the life forms of the stuff of many people over on Wegener. The crust started forming on the outside of the ship, which I think means the Aisling Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
They sent a team across,
Testicles.
redacted.
Oh, we hear you. Testing.
They found the artifact in the cargo hold of Wegener. They moved it to the Aisling Explorer, redacted. Security team on Wegener does something. Then crust is moving onto the Aisling Explorer, redacted. Chief Scientist Johnson decides to power artifact, and crust moves back to Wegener. Crew has headaches. So I never got the idea that they moved the artifact back.
Oh, so that's what I thought. I thought they
Yeah.
did, but it was just that the crust moved back once they turned on the artifact.
Right. But
So the artifact is still on
Aisling.
the Aisling.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I suggest we do a scan first for life forms, that life form scan,
Okay.
and then try
Yep,
to
sounds good.
radio contact anybody still alive.
All right. So if you're going to do a scan for life signs, at this range, what you're just going to get a ping back is that, yes, there's life signs. If you're trying to distinguish between the two vessels, you're going to have to get a lot closer.
Oh, you have to get a lot closer.
Yes.
What type of technology is this?
Well, I mean, when you think about what you're looking at, if it's a mile away, it's basically going to be a little dot about that big.
Well, it's up to the captain. What do you want to do, Captain?
First, get what you can get from here. We can still move closer if need be.
Rush, I don't know if you caught, I asked before, based on my experience with xenobiology and the databanks on this ship, is there any previous indication of creature, either life forms that live in outer space or outer space anomalies that form crusts around ships?
You don't know of any anomalies that can form crusts. There are organisms that can survive in space, but none to this extent where they would be able to coat. In other words, you're talking, there's like bacteria that can survive being in space, but you're talking about some little bacteria. If this is indeed a biological thing, you're talking about a biological organism that is coating an entire vessel. And so at
Here's
that
the question about
size, you've never heard of that before.
coating. Is there any structures, or is it a patina, or is it like there's some weird structures like fungi growing out that create structures?
It's nothing. There's no structures, but it's a little thicker than it looks like it would be thicker than a patina. It looks like it would probably be 3 to 4 inches thick.
Okay. So certain defining edges and stuff on the ship that it's growing on are more smoothed out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a.
So I would ask, Brown, what's the ring for? on the Wegener.
Yeah, so what's the ring for? Is that a gravity ring or is it their propulsion unit?
So you would recognize that ring as being a part of a it's part of a propulsion. It's a combination of F drive being mixed with, I don't know if you've ever heard of and I'm definitely probably not going to pronounce this right, an Alcubierre drive. But it's basically when the two are when the two technologies are put together or mated together, it creates a vessel that can jump insanely long distances.
Is that the same thing we have on our ship?
No, you just have an F drive.
Oh, so there's a special combo on that one.
Yeah.
So you see that there is no.
We lost our captain, in quotes.
But there is something about the somehow. So the drive's not on, right? So is there any radiation or anything that's emitted from these drives when they're not jumping?
Well, yeah, they would probably emit radiation, but they would the radiation would be contained. I mean, if you did a sensor sweep, if you get of the ship, you'd be able to tell whether or not the drives were powered up and whatnot.
Well, I'm wondering if any type of radiation being emitted by this drive in its current state is somehow preventing this weird growth from getting there.
Test?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Hey.
Man.
So that's the thought.
Okay. Well, if you get close enough, you can try and do you can probably try and get Dara to help you with the sensor suite.
Yep.
To figure that out.
So, Captain, should we get closer to do a sensor suite then?
Sure, but still stay in a safe distance.
Yeah.
Well, can you define how close of a distance?
Close enough to do a sensor sweep?
Well, that's for the pilot to decide.
I mean, essentially what you guys are getting is, as long as you don't touch it, the ship is probably going to be safe. You've been able to kind of figure that out just by what's happened.
So meaning, pilot, don't fuck it up.
Damn.
Wow. Too much pressure.
Yes.
Remember, dice stay on the table.
All right. So you want to bring in, say, within, what do you say, a couple of 100 feet?
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
it's like move up slow. No hot dogging.
35.
Okay. So what's half of 75? Just like it's written on your paper, hon.
Oh, it's 37.
Okay. All right. So that would be a hard success then. Okay. So Clementine is able to bring the ship around and bring it in fairly close and is able to expertly drift the ship kind of sideways, rolls it over so that you guys can basically look right up out of the long sloping canopy, and you're right there and able to take a look at the ship and get a pretty good view. Dara will do a sensor sweep. And what are the things you want her to look for?
The life sign thing. Any type of radiation coming off of anything, and also the radiation that we normally would expect to come off of that ring drive, to see if we still detect that or whether it's missing something.
Okay.
Or any weird radiation coming out of Aisling Explorer.
That too.
Supposedly they detected an anomaly that was on the planet. So
yeah, so we
should be able to detect it since we're a lot closer.
So which one do you want her to do first, the Aisling or the Wegener?
The Wegener, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust.
So she kind of goes down and she starts her sensor sweep and she's looking and she kind of looks up and she says, well, all radiation on board the ship is appears to be within standard. There doesn't appear to be any radiation leaks or everything is contained and within normal levels of being in a powered down or standby state. There are obviously, just as the Aisling Explorer found in their logs, there is a huge life sign, a huge life sign rating, but it doesn't appear to be located in any particular area.
It's the crust.
Almost as if the whole, yeah. She kind of looks at it and she says, based on my readings, I would say yes.
There's no individual life signs anymore.
Not that I can see, because the crust is sort of. She explains that with the sensor array, essentially what she's looking for is, it would be much the same kind of thing of trying to use just sensors to detect a baby inside of a mother.
Okay. Which you can do.
Well, you can if you're touching the mother. But
yeah, we're not
from
gonna do
here, what she says, basically, there's like a giant living mass that's masking me from being able to see what's behind it with any kind of discernible accuracy.
Okay.
So, and then she says, as far as the Aisling goes, she conducts the same. Since she's close enough, she's able to redirect to the Aisling now, and she says that I am not detecting any human life signs on board the Aisling, or any life signs aboard the Aisling of any kind. The ship is also in a powered down standby state. I am detecting in what appears to be the cargo area of the vessel there is an abnormal power signature there, and it appears to be on a slow pulse.
Can you determine what this? Oh, so there's just a power signature, but you can't detect any type of radiation that matches the pulse. And the if we check for radiation, there's no pulse that goes in sync with this pulse that's being emitted.
No, she says negative. And with that, everybody give me a listen roll.
I failed.
Oh, 9. It's a miracle.
Yeah, that's a success.
Yes.
I failed.
Nope
none.
for me.
So everybody, what's up with everybody fails but one person?
Well, all my skills are in my technical skills, and none of the
It's okay. So is that considered an extreme for you? An extreme success, Harry?
That would be a hard success.
Hard success. Okay.
Not extreme.
So while you guys are all listening to Dara and whatnot, Harry, you kind of notice there's you hear what sounds like I almost wish I didn't have to share this with everybody else.
you may be able
You
to
can, type it if you want.
or open a private. I wonder if you can open a private
Yeah, let me
channel.
do that real quick here. Hold on. We got to get back to. Yeah, there we go. This won't take just a second here.
That was one thing I found pretty cool about Discord. You have multiple rooms, and you can just move the person into the room and go in the room, and you talk to them, and then you move them back.
That is very true. That's definitely. Definitely a thought. Okay. Come on, man. That's not what I want to do. Sorry. There we go. I got Horace Boris in like 3 different chats, and I clicked the wrong one. So there we go. That's what you're ding. All right. And Dara tells you, like she says that the power signature that she detects within the cargo hold is not like anything that matches any records that she's seen.
And there's no easy way to reproduce that signature.
I mean, she says that it might be. It's a very complex signature, but it would require more information. She would have to have more data.
Mm-hmm.
And where I hear this thing, where do I hear it coming from? Like inside our ship, or
you can't
just
tell.
Like inside? Okay.
Can I
Weird.
my
All right.
physics on this thing at all for the signature and everything?
Well, I mean, basically what you're getting is data analysis from her sensors. I would say as far as applying physics, you'd have to, I mean, you don't even physically know what the thing looks like or how it functions in any way. So,
well, that's the same with particle physics. You don't know until you look at your diagrams. You can't look at the particles.
I mean, you could probably do a physics roll, yes, and try and get some of the waves as far as things like that. So yeah, go ahead.
I got a 16. It's a success. It's a hard success.
A hard success. So you're able to look at it and analyze it, and again, you agree with Dara's assessment that it's not anything that you've seen or heard of before, but it definitely appears to be, in other words, as far as the physics go or whatever, it does not appear to be a power signature or a radiation that's being put off by
anything we know, right?
Well, it's not being put off by anything biological. It definitely appears to be a construct.
A device. Okay.
Yes. It's definitely a device. It definitely has a that kind of a signature.
So what do you want to do, Captain?
Well, we should get a sample. What do you think?
Yeah. So the best way to get a sample is be near where there's no growth, right? From one of the, if there's growth here, we want to come from here where there's no growth and go to one of the edges. And sort of.
So go to the ring.
Yeah. See by observation where the growth is and if it's acting different, like it's dying off or whether it's being held back. And then we take a sample, right? And the sample
Does the growth look different, like on different parts of the, maybe where the ship is on the planet side versus the deep space side or the sun side? Is it like absorbing energy in different color or growing more vibrantly in certain areas.
What is your like xenobiology skills? What are the skills you have?
It's just xenobiology.
Okay, so I would say give me a, if you're doing it by a visual inspection, give me a xenobiology roll.
Made it by 1 point once again.
It's all right though, you're making it. So it appears to be very uniform in that it's, if this makes sense, it's, if you could imagine it being almost like a, I don't want to say moss because moss is fuzzy and plant-like. It doesn't appear to be plant-like, but it definitely seems to be like a lot of other biologicals. It's kind of random, but it doesn't, at no point does it do anything crazy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has a bit of a flow to it. The only thing that you notice is that right where it's at the right where it surrounds the Aisling Explorer's docking ring, there is a discoloration where it's kind of like a reddish brown, but right where it surrounds the Aisling Explorer, it has like a blackish, grayish hue to it. And that's the only thing that would set any of the crust apart.
One more question, then I'll let the EVA go. What about the engines on the Wegener? Is it covering them in the rear?
So on the, when you guys did the visual inspection, it appears to be coating the engineering section, which is where the engines are from. But as far as the actual, I guess, nozzles or the thrusters,
right, it's not on the, okay, right.
They appear to be clear, but it definitely appears to be surrounding the engineering section.
Oh, that's odd. That's very odd. That means it knows
brown.
Either there's some residue or that will prevent it from coating it, or that it knows not to cover that. That's really odd. So how are they taking the sample? Is we want to take some device that can take the sample, but the device gets enclosed in the bag or whatever.
So I mean,
put it in on,
it
right?
wouldn't be hard. I mean, you'll have containers on board that you can actually that would be sealable, and it wouldn't be hard to rig some kind of, like, I guess like a grappling handle where you can grab a hold of it, and then you can just cut it with like a laser torch or something, just cut a piece off, or
maybe even laser torch it off and then it'll float off in space and then we grab it, right?
Yeah.
Because basically I don't want anything that we touch it with to be brought back on the ship to contaminate the ship. Whatever touches it is enclosed completely. So there's no chance of anything that we touch it with touches any part of our ship when we bring it in.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to do.
Yeah. So basically very high level anti-contamination protocols.
Okay.
Okay. Do I just roll EVA or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see how we want to do this here. So yeah, well, you're gonna get suited up. Did anybody want to go with him?
I'm the EVA expert, so I don't think they will.
Well, you are, but you know,
pilot.
I'm just giving everybody
coming out. That'd be funny.
She's just,
I'll go.
I'm giving everyone the opportunity to participate in this that wants to. So,
well, how about if we send a drone out with you, remotely piloted drone thingy probe?
Well, we found out we do have probes that we fire at high velocity to take samples.
I don't know about.
Oh, that's what we have.
We just have probes, right?
You've got you have a probe for like a planetary that you would send down. Gosh, I don't know. I didn't even think about that. If you'd have one that would, no, because the probe would be to go land on something and then take readings or whatever. It wouldn't be what he's talking about is getting right back to it again, where you would have a drone again.
Yeah, remote drone. Yeah, so I don't
Send a
think.
probe to land on this crust and take, samples. If it has some little drill that can drill in and pull a piece
I'll
out and
just
put it
take
into a mass
something with a
spectrometer.
laser. I'll take something with a laser cutter, right? So a laser cutter just cuts off a piece, and when it floats off, I'll just grab it into, have a
Okay.
bag or something that
All right.
can seal it in.
Okay. So if there's so as you suit yourself up, I'm not going to make you roll for your vac suit. That to me, the vac suit roll should be like, oh my God, there's something wrong with my vac suit. I need to try and fix it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So you're only probably 200, maybe 200 feet out. So you're able to suit up and you go out the airlock. So the first question I have for you is, how are you just going to go straight to the hull of the Wegener? Is there a particular spot you want to go?
Yeah, the clear area. So I first have a tether, right? Because they do have long tethers just in case. And then I would have that jetpack thing that
Right.
you can fly over there. So
Mhm.
basically, I'm not going to land on the Wegener at all. I'd be out, like floating in free space.
Okay.
Near enough to get a sample off of this thing. But
So-
if anything, I would orientate myself near the clear area on the engine area that's clear, the ring.
Okay. So you want to go there. You're not. So the two clear areas on the primary hull are near the engines and near the Aisling Explorer where it's docked.
Yeah, so I want to be. We're thinking near the ring, near the. Unless it looks discolored and weird, then I may go to the Aisling Explorer border.
Well, the discoloration part is near the Aisling. The rest of it is you can go through the engines or near the ring. So it's really kind of,
I was thinking of getting a sample near a healthy part of it. So
Okay. All right. All right. So as you float across, you get to a spot where it looks like there's a nice healthy area there, and cutting a hunk off is really not going to be very difficult to do. As you cut it, it doesn't appear to bleed from what you can see. And of course, being in space, even if it did, you wouldn't really see it. You cut it off, and you're able to cut off a chunk of, maybe about the size of a,
I'm thinking of a quarter, like a small piece, like a
Oh,
quarter.
you want to go that small?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
That's
you can
all
cut off. How big of a? All right. So you can just cut a very small piece off. In that case, I guess well, no, because you're doing the EVA thing. So when you cut it off, as you try and take you have a hard plastic container, and you're basically
Yeah, a hard
gonna
plastic
try-
container.
All right. So is your dex pretty good?
55, so it's a little bit above average.
Give me another deck. Give me a dex roll.
Okay. 85, so I missed by 30.
Okay. So that piece being small, you're trying to catch it, it just kind of floats off. Luckily, it doesn't appear to be floating toward the Cupid's arrow. So
Is
I'll
it
let
so
you.
far away I can't get it, or is it?
Well, you can either chase it down or you can try and cut off another chunk.
I would either chase it down or flame it and burn it up into cinders. It's one of the two choices.
I'm
So
gonna give you the choice.
I'm going to chase it down then, as long as
Okay.
it's not near the big.
All right, I'll let you give me an EVA roll for that one.
29. I got a hard success.
Okay, so with that, I'll say you'll be able to fly where you can basically just hold the thing in front of you and just kind of get it like that. So
And then slam the lid on it.
yes, slam the lid on it. Go ahead and give me another listen roll while you're there.
Oh, I thought you can't hear anything in space. 33. Nope. fail my listen.
Apparently, he can't
Wow.
hear anything in space.
Okay.
Yeah. Base listen is 25. So
All right. Given your proximity to the ship, so while you are still going to hear it, you're just not going to be able to make out what it is.
Mhm.
But you start to hear, and I'll just actually go ahead and just send it to you, too, real fast. Actually, you're right there. There you go. And you hear that as you're chasing down the little particle in your EVA suit.
Is there is it in the Google chat window somewhere?
Oh, I sent it to you in Facebook Messenger.
Ah, okay. I don't have it open.
Sorry about that.
Let me do that. Huh, that's odd. I actually say out loud to my microphone. Do you guys hear that?
So you guys on the ship hear him ask that question.
We hear you.
I sound like I hear like whispering or something.
I don't hear anything, darling.
Huh. Oh, that's odd.
Concentrate, Brown.
And maybe the audio.
Brown, the Aisling Explorer reported headaches in the crew. There may be some sort of radiation or other effect that's starting to bother you.
Yeah, or there's like some audio issues of this, but it does sound more like whispering, so it's not like static. That's really odd. Oh, I got the sample, so coming back in.
All right. So you're able to reel yourself in with the cable and make your way back into the airlock. And you now have this container.
Yep.
You're going to have to go through, as you come back in the airlock, there's a like a little decon place you have to pass through, of course. That's going to take probably 10, 15 minutes to make sure.
And I would look at this thing inside the containers. It's just sitting on the bottom or something, or before it was floating, and then once we have artificial gravity, it goes top, right?
Yeah. And it just kind of looks like a mass of, smooth, almost like roots, but also looks like there might be what looks like maybe, from what you can tell, blood vessels mixed in with it too, or something that looks like blood vessels, but obviously blood can't exist in space.
My EVA suit have a camera.
Yeah.
I assume it has a camera, so I'll show that to Jeffers and everybody, whoever's interested.
Oh, yeah.
And I assume all the stuff's being recorded too. Like it's being...
Yes. So
blood vessels.
Well, I mean, you'll see it here in a minute once he gets out of decon, I'm sure. So after about 10 minutes, you're able to go ahead and step through. And
that's the other thing I forgot. When I was there, there's the stuff where it didn't grow onto the ring. Could I see what it looks like where the edges, like where it doesn't come there?
It just looked like, I would say, based on what you saw, considering that you didn't really go look at it close, it looked like it was the growth was dead there.
Oh, okay. So it's not like it came to a barrier and stopped. It sort of died.
It looked like it tried to get there and then died.
And something killed it. Okay.
How did it react when you cut it? Or should I say probed it?
it just cut it. I didn't think I saw anything, right? So
Yeah, well, you cut it, and you didn't notice any reaction until, like I said, then when you went to go pick up the piece.
then I
you
heard
cut off.
that weird sound. Well, I'm thinking it's something else, but
Right. But that's the only thing that was the only thing that happened.
Okay. All right, I'm going down to the med bay and getting all suited up in the contamination suit and getting the whatever tank we use for remote sampling, probing prepped.
yeah,
Okay.
I want to find out what can hurt it, what it feeds on. If it has blood vessels, maybe it has nerves and stuff too.
All right, so you guys are basically, you take once you're able to get out of your suit, you get this thing down to the science lab. And are you going to stay down there with him, Garth, to assist, or are you going to, like, once you hand it off to Professor, where do you?
I do have a chemistry background, so if he needs my chemistry expertise, I will stay. If not, then I guess I could take a rest. Because spacewalk is tiring.
Floating is hard.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to see what this thing's made of? We've got to answer the captain's question. Is it animal or vegetable?
Or mineral. Sure, I'll hang around.
Okay.
I assume all is being recorded anyway, and we're going to ship the data files. We'll stream the data files back to Earth.
You are correct.
And how much of that will be redacted?
All of it.
Okay.
But see, once we start sending data back, we're getting paid.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Get on that, Captain.
All right.
We should be sending stuff back live so that if something bad happens, they get up to the minute status and what we've learned.
Yeah, and then worst case, they sell it as a YouTube video and get money. You know.
God, you guys are insane. All right. So I'm assuming that the two ladies are still on the bridge.
Yep.
That is correct.
So while they're down there doing the getting everything ready and playing with their new toy, Dara immediately starts tapping away, and you'll notice Dara starts tapping away at her panel, and then she looks up and she looks toward the both of you. And then she looks over at Irene, and she says, Captain Rowley.
What?
More like Captain Rudely.
It's just an AI.
So what makes Aki start giggling again in her little chair as she's over there? Dara looks over at you and says, Captain, I am detecting a massive energy surge.
I pressed the button.
The other parts of the ship are the only ones.
No, she wants to talk to the whole ship.
Check the sensors. There's something going on over there.
Captain.
I'm speaking specifically to the professors, doctors.
Captain.
What?
We're a little busy down here.
If a droid has the ability to look sheepish. She kind of looks down and then looks at her panel and back up at you. She says, hey, Captain, it's not coming from over there.
I still hold the button. From where?
She says, there is a vessel incoming. And it's appears to be about to drop out right on top of us.
Move the ship! And you come up here, we have a problem.
So as you tell them to come up here, there is a flash out off your
Port bow.
no, not the port. Don't you start that shit.
There's
There's there's a flash right off the bow of the ship, because you guys had pulled sideways, and a blackish strange vessel appears, and it basically jumped in right on top of you, and it pulls up almost nose to nose. It's probably 1,500 feet out. And for those of you on the bridge, it looks like that.
Oh, fuck. Back off!
But we don't know what that is, right? We've never seen anything like this.
Well, you don't see it at all, actually.
I know.
But
These
yes. That's the vessel that you see. And it pulls up and it stops and doesn't appear to be making any kind of threatening maneuvers. Dara looks over at you and says, Captain, this vessel class is unknown.
No shit. Contact them.
So Dara immediately begins trying to use her radio, and all of you hear a voice, and the voice is very kind of feminine in nature, and all it says is, I would like to speak to the captain, please. And that's where we're going to end.
God damn it.
Oh, yeah. Now you know how it feels, bitch.
Tom, you have to be back next week.
Oh, you don't want to be in charge anymore?
I still like the idea we should tell him nothing because he's brain damaged, and he just starts in media res where he goes,
oh, yeah.
And we just said, well, you're the captain, but since you don't know anything, you're not the captain.
Oh, hell yeah. Put the video
and then
on private,
we just said,
please.
deal with whatever's going on.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I told you I wanted to go for about 3 hours.
I guess we got to wake him up.
I wanted to go for about 3 hours, and we went for 3.5.
So
But-
next week I have Thanksgiving stuff,
Yes.
so I can't do next week.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
That's fine. I mean, I'm free on Friday, but that's just me. But I totally expected people the non-European folk to not be free.
Yeah,
You
so
don't have
I'm free
Thanksgiving.
the 1st, December 1st. I'm free. So
Okay. How about, let me look at something here, because for some reason I'm wanting to say that another one of you guys had something going on the 1st.
but that's my
I've
schedule.
got something going on the first, just so you know.
Oh, you have something on the 1st.
Yeah.
I thought Morgan I
Hey.
thought you had a game on the 1st, Morgan.
No, I'm busy Friday the 24th. I have nothing on the 1st.
Okay. To try and be kind to our European friends, how does everybody look for Saturday the 25th?
For what?
Oh,
How yeah.
yeah, 25th I'm open.
I'm not.
You're not open on the 25th.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go to
Oh
see all.
no, me neither. Oh
You neither.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so Morgan's got something on the 21st, and then other Morgan has something on the 26th. Let's see. So when is the next Saturday or Sunday that you guys all think that you would have?
I'm open 26, but you said somebody else is busy 26.
I've got a game at 6 p.m. on the 26th. But if we started this early, we could do it.
6 p.m.
Yeah, so if we start.
Yeah, I'm in the same game
I'm
you
open
are
on the 19th.
Harry.
Yeah, okay.
Aaron and I are in the same game on the 26th. Oh no, I lost my. There we go. So, oops. No, stop it. Son of a bitch. I really hate the way this does sometimes.
I could do the 3rd of December.
Is that a me too?
Yeah, that's a Sunday. Yeah, I'm free.
Okay.
Something going on in the evening, but if we end around this time or even a little bit later, it'd be good.
Well,
we could start arbitrarily early.
The purpose of trying to do it on a Saturday and Sunday, so we could actually possibly go maybe a little earlier in the day, so that Tom and Micah wouldn't have to be up till 2 or 3 in the morning. It's kind of what I was hoping to do.
It's good with me.
Tom doesn't have to work Mondays anymore, and I'm getting up 11 a.m. So.
Okay. So that's Sunday the what?
The 3rd.
So we will go for
or even the 26th, but you said you guys are playing, right?
Oh, playing.
Yeah. All right, so let's go for the 3rd, and let's try to aim for say, how does 2 o'clock sound?
2 o'clock.
Thanks for me.
2 o'clock Eastern time. So
okay.
Yeah.
So 11. Okay. Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's what we'll do. We'll aim for Sunday the 3rd. I'll create it tonight. That way we can get started earlier. I have a feeling that one's probably going to run a full 4-hour session, most likely. But if it looks like it's going to go any longer than that, I should be able to figure out after about the first 2 hours. I'll be able to see how it's going, and if I need to go a 3rd session, would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Well, we should really be able to get rolling now, because the action should really kind of pick up a little bit.
I liked it so far.
Yeah. It's a little different because it's not so much. We haven't been able to do a lot of the investigation has been very different than what we normally do when we play Call of Cthulhu.
There's the world building because we're not sure what's allowable and what's not too. So
well, and that's true, but at the same time, though, that also gives you 3 weeks. Well, no, sorry, 2 weeks and 2 days to look over the Cthulhu Rising book, because it really is. The book is not very long; it's only like 50 pages, but it has a lot of setting information in it. So that's a great time to kind of read over that, and you'll have a much better understanding. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, even I haven't gone through it as much as I should have, but I have plenty of time now to get that done. So I should be much more of an expert on the setting by the time we meet next. But it's got some really cool stuff in there. So, but boy, she's
Guys,
really
I have to nap.
Yes, you go
Thanks
to bed.
for running.
No problem. Thank you for
See you
playing.
guys.
Talk to you tomorrow. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. No problem at all. So, oh, damn, he left, didn't he? Oh, never mind. He saw it. We the house we wanted to rent for Gen Con got snatched up
Oh,
out from under us. Like we looked at it last
That's
night
quick.
and we're like, hey, this looks pretty good. And then we went to go actually do it today. And I was like, son of a bitch.
so they're that soon, huh?
Yeah, it was that quick. And
For a
we
year
definitely
ahead.
know it was Gen Con because they rented it for exactly those days. So
Yeah. It's,
that was 1.7 miles from the convention. This house, the one we got tonight, was 6 miles away. But that's not too far.
that's not bad.
No, but it's a lot cheaper. I mean, it's like per person, it's like $77 a night cheaper per person.
Oh, the further one away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because they figure you have to drive. Then you can't walk.
Well, we're probably going to Uber it more than likely, but I don't know. I have to talk to my buddy Bob. He drives for Uber, so he can kind of give me an estimation of what that's going to cost. But he did. So like a 6 mile trip, if you're in like say downtown Norfolk, if I needed to go 6 miles into downtown Norfolk, what would a trip like that cost me? Probably. And it would be like early in the morning and late at night. It wouldn't be during peak times.
I would probably say 6 miles. Probably anywhere. Maybe $10.
$10. And if it's like 4 or 5 people in the cars,
Doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
No, it's just the trip. So
Oh, hell yeah. That's nothing. You can get there for like $2 or $3. And Daniel was making such a stink about that.
Well, the
Also-
thing is, when you go, you're all together. When you come back, probably you aren't because unless you want to eat there and then come back, because people will come out of games at different times, right? And they go, oh, it's time to head back and crash.
Well, I think Harry's planning on being kind of an early bird coming back. Michelle and I, it's just going to kind of depend on how well we hold up. You know, I've lost a
I'm
ton of
still
weight. But
undecided
I'm still
on
good.
Gen Con. I've never gone, but I have a
Why
lot
don't you come on, man?
I just hear it's like, oh, there's so many people and you have to pay for games. I hate paying for games. It just doesn't.
Well, you know, you have to pay for games, but at the same time, there's like 500 gaming companies that are going to be there. I think you can probably find a shit ton of things to do without ever even getting into a game and still have a great time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to play in a game, but I'm not like, that's not my main purpose in going. I play a lot here. I
Yeah.
want to go to the convention. I want to see all the new products and do the demos.
Yeah,
and
that's what happened to one of my friends who went last year.
yeah.
He basically was going, and then his girlfriend said, well, you go to conventions all the time to play games. Why don't you go there and do the business side instead? He goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So he did that.
And I think that's what I'm really excited about. See, but that being said, one of the things that I'm super excited about, and of course, Daniel, I don't know, the other day, he was just kind of being a poo-poo head the whole time, to be honest with you. But I was like, so I'm going to be there. Michelle, my wife's going to be there. Mike is going to be there. Morgan Grover's going to be there. Harry's going to be there. And Daniel's going to be there.
Yeah,
I'm
actually
like-
fun to meet everybody, right?
Yeah, well, there's that. But I was like, we have a house. And my wife loves to cook. And I like to cook. But my wife really likes to cook, and she's particularly skilled at it, if I do say so. So we're like, we could go one night where we can go to Gen Con. If we come back at a decent time, we can put something in the crock pot and let it sit there while we're at the convention and come back. And we were like, we can all sit around a table and actually have a face-to-face game together.
That was a 6.5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'll tell you what, if you have
How?
room, I'll show up whether I'm going to Gen Con or not. I can show up.
Well, hey, if you want to come out and just hang out for the weekend, you know.
Worst case is I hang out, and if not, then if I can get a Gen Con ticket and I want to go there, I could do that. But I don't mind just hanging out.
Well,
if you
Gen
have
Con
room-
tickets $90 for the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Pretty cool.
it would be I mean shit. Hold on, let me look at it. What was the hold on.
What?
Hand me that sheet
It's
of
just
paper.
that I know it's hard to get tickets, so sometimes people try to get in and they can't buy tickets.
Sleeps 8.
Well, you talking about a badge or just a ticket for a game?
A ticket for a badge because they say they sell out.
Well, they go on sale pre-order in January, and they tell you exactly what date it is.
Mhm.
So we're all going to be like that day, jump on and get it.
Okay.
Concert
Okay.
tickets.
So it's going to be kind of like a concert.
So put me in for a room if you have still a room or bed left. It's pillows, right? Like usually, I remember we used to do ski trips. We count pillows. They count pillows. So put me down for a pillow.
Well, kind of what we were doing it, or the way I was doing it was I was kind of counting the bedroom kind of a thing. Like, my wife and I were
You're
going to be
in
in one bedroom. So that was one share. Harry's bringing his kid. So that's a share. But I mean, God, it's going to be so cheap, especially and if you end up with it, what was it? Hold on. Here we go. Right now it's, it ended up being $233 for each person.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
If you showed up, it would be $194.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You do less
Now-
than $200.
We don't have any idea. I know there's a king. I think there's a king bed in one room. There's a queen bed in another room, but we have absolutely no idea what's in the other two bedrooms. In fact, I was going to have Rush message the guy or email the guy and ask him, because there's no pictures of those two
Definitely
rooms.
just ask them because if they rent a whole house, sometimes they have put twins and things in them. So
Well, they do, and they've got I mean, it sleeps 8 people.
yeah.
So,
But you know how they do that? It's like the king bed is 2 people, and then the queen bed's 2 people, and then sometimes the living room's a pull-out couch for 2 more people. But you probably don't want to do that with so many people, because then it's like whoever wakes up early in the morning is going to wake up whoever's sleeping in the living room, right?
well, but the good news is, with it being Gen Con, pretty much everybody's getting up pretty early in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Unless somebody stayed up so late playing a game that they they go like,
Well,
I was up till 3 in the morning. Why are you here?
they fall asleep after we leave.
So that sometimes happens, because I go on ski trips, and there's some people who like to wake up 4 in the morning for who knows what reason, and then there's some people who don't want to get up till 10, and then the people in the living room always get screwed because they can't go to sleep until everybody else is asleep, and then when the first guy wakes up, the person in the living room gets screwed because they get woken up. So that's all.
But I mean, there's 4 bedrooms, so I figured Michelle and I were obviously going to have one.
Yeah.
Harry and his kids probably going to have one, so that leaves 2 bedrooms to divide between Daniel, Morgan, you, and Micah.
I think that'll be fine.
And plus there's pull-out couches and several people. Daniel, Morgan, the other Morgan, all of them have said, yeah, I'll sleep on the couch. I'll sleep in it. Hell, Harry even said sometimes he sleeps on the floor.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So.
Yep. So
Harry's back.
Put me down. Send me info. And what's the date so I can put it on my calendar?
It's from the 1st, and then we're leaving August, by the way. So we're coming in August 1st, and then we're actually going to be leaving the morning of August 5th. So we'll be staying there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then leaving early on Sunday. Because check-in time for the house is, I think it's, oh shoot, that was for the other house.
Yeah, it's always the same. Usually your checkout time is 10. Your check-in is like 3 or 4.
So it's 1st through the 5th?
Yeah. We're going to get there on the 1st, which is the day before the convention, so we can all unpack, sit down, relax, because we're driving.
Yeah, and so anybody, if you decide, like Morgan, if you decide that you're going to fly in versus drive in like we are, let us know, and we'll come and get you.
Yeah, I have to decide. I may drive in, actually. So.
Oh, that's a long-ass drive, bro.
Well, Micah wanted to do a tour of the U.S., but she hasn't where she wants to go. So if I drive in, then I can take my car.
Okay.
And we can drive around. But if what she wants to do requires more flying or train, then I won't take my car. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, and that's what I kind of figured. I figured she had said something about flying to San Francisco.
Yeah.
After, because I think is that where you're at? Is in San Francisco?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. So she was thinking we were going to do a tour do the touristy thing.
Yeah. So I was like, well, if you flew in, that way you guys could work it out so that you both fly.
Yeah.
Together.
So I could fly in or I could drive. I know some friends drove there. They said it took 3 days.
Oh God.
Fuck. She likes to drive. I don't like to drive. So
I have a Tesla on order. So I have a Tesla on order, and it's supposed to have auto drive. So I was hoping to try it out.
I've heard of that.
Did you just say you had a Tesla on order?
He did.
No, it's one of the cheap ones. One of the cheap Teslas.
Yeah, but still, it's got auto drive.
Yeah. So it's auto drive.
I don't know.
Cool.
I'm a tech guy, but I don't trust tech that much. As a tech guy, I get to see tech break.
He just announced trucks with auto drive.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Teslas today at work because we were talking about racing and these guys showing up to the drag strips with these Teslas and blowing everybody out of the water.
Yeah, he just announced a new Roadster Tesla that can go up to 60 in 1 point something seconds.
That's what we were looking at, and it has to do with the fact that they don't have to shift transmissions.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
they
just
don't have to shift.
Stupid. So you watch, pretty soon there won't be gasoline-powered race cars anymore.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, oh yeah, that I'd probably get killed in an auto accident if I bought one of these. So I said no.
Yeah. Well, see, like we only have to drive, for us, it's like 11 hours. So from Virginia, it's not that bad of a drive, really. So.
Well, my friends went, but they stopped, I think. So it's not like 3 days straight. They stopped.
Yeah, my brother does it. My brother, we're all, we were born and raised here in Virginia, but my brother he actually owns a house in Bremerton, Washington. And he worked for Boeing out there for a long time. And then he worked for Northrop Grumman out there. And he's like, he'll jump in the car and drive cross country without even a second thought. I don't have any interest in driving.
We've driven down to LA before. I visit relatives in LA, and it's a straight drive, like 8 hours or whatever. Yeah, and then I go skiing. I have to drive 6 straight hours to go skiing. So
where do you go skiing at?
Tahoe, Lake Tahoe.
Oh,
so
nice.
I drive straight over there, get there in the early afternoon, and then ski all day, and then sometimes stay overnight, and then ski the next day. And sometimes, if the skiing's no good, I drive all the way back. So,
well, there again. See, we were able to do that too, but in Virginia to go skiing in the mountains here, which granted, our mountains aren't anything like Tahoe, but we do still have pretty good ski slopes. We have a place called Wintergreen and a place called Massanutten, and you can get to each one of those places in about 3 or 4 hours. So I used to do that as a. My parents used to take us a lot when we were kids. Before my dad, both his knees blew out, and my mom had a bad back. Before all that happened, we used to go skiing quite a bit. But once that happens, your skiing days are over. So, but yeah, man, we'd love to have you. It would be really awesome. But I know that's an awful long drive, and
it's either that or fly. So Mike hasn't figured out what she wants to look at yet. So once we know her tourist schedule, then we could figure out what to do.
She's coming here with us. She's gonna, I don't know if she told you, she's flying in. We're gonna pick her up in either Washington or Baltimore, depending on which one's cheaper. And so we're gonna come back here, and she's gonna be with us for probably 2 or 3 days.
That's good. Show her DC and all that, right?
Well, I don't know how much of
show her some wineries.
How much time in DC we'll have to be able to do, because DC is kind of hard to do in a day.
Oh, so I used to take the train, that metro thing in, right, and then go to the Smithsonian and then spend days in the Smithsonian. Yeah,
you can do that. And that's the thing. So what she expressed an interest in was all the colonial stuff, because I live, like I said, I live right in. I mean, I'm 20 minutes from Williamsburg.
Oh, that's really cool. I've never done that. I've driven by, but I've never done Williamsburg.
Yep. So I can take her through colonial Williamsburg. I can take her to Jamestown, Yorktown.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff. So she said she had an interest in that stuff. And plus we've got a lot of wineries here too. So she's kind of wants to do that.
So
we have 2 or 3 days to muck around, take her to Williamsburg winery, all that stuff. And then we'll hop in the car on Wednesday and head up to.
Yeah. I just have to figure out what she wants to do. And then if it's stuff up more West Coast, then I just fly in.
Yeah. She's got time to figure
but definitely put me on the rooming list.
I will do it. I will do it. That's awesome, man.
Tell me when I have to give you any money.
Well, first, well, let me, yeah. So you're 194. So yeah,
You know, it might change when you add more people or whatever. So
for
when
you
you
it'd be 194, and then what I'll have to do is I was going to be sending everybody 77 back, but now it would just be I have to. Well, I just
yeah,
had
see,
to.
it keeps on changing. So it may be a case of you know when you're gonna get. Are you already billed on it?
Oh, I've already paid it, and they've
Oh.
already sent me their money. So what it is that
Okay.
everybody sent me 310. So I've
Okay.
got the total, which was 11.
So, or do you taking PayPal or what? How are you
Yeah,
taking?
that's how I'd prefer to do it.
Okay.
With
Okay.
PayPal.
And I'll do
Yes.
like from a bank transfer, so you don't get dinged or with that whatever the hell that crap thing is.
I mean, once it comes into my account, I just hit a button that says transfer to my bank.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just transfer from my bank, so you don't get dinged with some sort of fee.
So now, basically, with adding you on, instead of sending everybody back 77, I'll send everybody back 116. That's
Yeah.
easy math. So,
Am I
and
the
then-
last then for that thing? So you're not going to add any more people, right? So am I the last?
no, I don't think that we'd want to add anybody else because of the.
Okay. Just wondering for
space.
logistics, like, oh, if you add more, then you have to send money back and all that.
No, at that point, what I would do is probably just use their money to purchase like food or use it to pay for all the Ubers or whatever like that, you know. Or just cash everybody, take their share and just cash it out to everybody when we get there.
Oh, Michelle,
But-
just the link.
But I'm not gonna. At this point, we've got. Let's see, it's me and my wife, you, other Morgan, Daniel, Micah, Harry. That's 7 people.
Yeah,
And the
that's
house sleeps 8, so I think
yeah,
we're
that's good.
good.
Well, and Harry's son.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, he's a 13-year-old. We can throw him anywhere. Just lay on the couch, boy. You know, he'll have to be all right.
It's furnished, I assume. So it looks.
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here I can actually.
Well, I linked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Michelle
he's
gave
not-
me the link.
Oh,
I'm
you
looking-
did.
I did.
Oh,
I
yeah,
put in the
yeah,
link.
It looks small from the outside, but it must be deep.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it is, and it's 2-story.
yeah, and it's got 2 stories, and but yeah, when you look at the stuff inside, the furnishings are actually quite nice, really, for a little rental house thing. And
So if somebody's going to run something on Thursday, that'd be hilarious. Or
you know,
would
if people aren't going to be too tired, I mean, my wife
Yeah.
is a trooper. She likes to drive, and I don't, so I can actually just ride in the car. Probably, I will probably end up riding in the car most of the time. And so I'll be pretty well rested. But I mean, it'd have to be something short. But you know, it just kind of depends on what everybody
Yeah,
feels.
what you guys. So I have a game, but unfortunately, it requires some stuff.
Okay.
It's a dread game, so I need to bring my Jenga tower.
Oh, wait.
But that's one of those games you can only play with other people in face to face. You can't do it online, so it'd be a great game to play
Oh, okay.
face
I
to
still like
face.
the Descent idea.
Yeah,
but
we've
it-
got that. Plus, we've also got a game called Descent, which is kind of like D&D in a board game form, which is kind of fun too.
But
But
it's
Oh, we
but
have
that
that.
game I have is long. It's a convention game, so it's actually basically a 6-hour convention game. So it may be too long.
that's how Dread is.
No, it's the game I built.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
So Dread's an RPG, use Jenga tower instead of dice. But I have a convention game that I've run like 5 or 6 times, and people really like it, and I could run that. But
I am curious, but 6 hours is a long
it's
time.
a long time. It's like
Yeah.
it may be
I'm-
too long.
I'm interested though. So hell, if nothing else, maybe just bring it so we can just look at it.
Or do part of it. You could do
Yeah,
part or
something.
something.
But we'll work something out. I mean, we may end up not doing anything. Daniel had also said that so you'll be able to get your badges on the in January,
Yeah, remember
And
to ping me.
and I think it's in May 6th. I think you can actually sign up for the events.
Yeah.
And so what Daniel said you do is you get on there as soon as the events go live, you go in there and you sign up for the ones you want. So we can look at a couple of them, and maybe we should do it as a hangout together, and we can like grab some convention games where we can all jump in there together and maybe get a seat, but you know, see how it goes.
Yeah. That's
So-
a possibility.
But we got plenty of time to figure that stuff out. I mean, I'm gonna have a good time regardless.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
I think hanging out with you guys would be fun.
I think to me that's the big thing. Hanging out with you guys, seeing all the stuff, all the things you can buy. I'm a little bit pissed. I don't know if Wizards of the Coast is going to be there or not. They haven't been the last couple of years, which it blows my mind. I don't understand it, but I know Paizo will be there with Pathfinder, and Fantasy Flight will be there with all the Star Wars stuff. So I mean, I was like, oh my god, you'll be. And
Well, you
can-
have a car, so you can throw all your stuff in your car and drive it all back.
yes. Well, Micah said she's coming with pretty much empty luggage,
Oh,
so she
okay.
can haul get
Either
her
that or
haul and
you
take it home.
ship it back, ship it home afterwards.
Yes.
I think it's hysterical.
So I'm like, all right, girl, whatever works for you. So, all right, cool deal.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
man. Well, hey, I'll tell you what I'll do then. Also, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna add you. We actually have a group in the sheep group.
Oh, for this trip.
Well, I created another group called the Sheep Gen Con group, and so I'll make sure
Just add me the thing.
Yep.
And then the amount I owe you. I think you just need my email address, right?
No, you need mine. You send it to me.
Oh, I send it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you put in
Like you go to PayPal and you says who do you want to send it to, and you put in my address. So
Oh, okay. Can you send me your email address and
I'll type it right in here. Actually,
or I'll give you my email address. You give me my or whatever, and then how much I owe you.
so with that, and it's 194.
Okay.
It's easy. It's just my full first and last name at gmail.com. Nothing,
Okay,
nothing
cool.
fancy or hard.
I get
'Cause I have to use it for business as well. But the good thing about this house too is it's got 2 bathrooms, so the ladies get one, and then all of us mooks get the other one.
Oh, so there's no master bathroom for you guys?
I don't know, but even if there
I'd
is
say
even if there is a master bathroom, I'm pretty sure that's going to be for the 2 ladies. I'll be having to come out of my room to use the bathroom with you guys. I mean, I might go in there in the middle of the night to pee if I have to, but aside from that,
Oh, I assume we have to. This is like a B&B or Airbnb or just a rental. Do we have to bring?
I don't
Do we have to bring our own towels and stuff? Or
I don't
No,
think
all
so.
of that I think is included.
I think all that,
towels?
yeah,
But how
all that
about-
stuff should be included.
They give you like little crappy soaps, or do we have to bring our own soap?
I will. I mean, we got plenty of time, but I am going to send the guy a message, and I will make sure to add that to my questions.
Yeah, so and those little like micro pieces of soap.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally know what you're talking
If they
about.
have that, then you don't have to worry about bringing stuff. That's all.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does
Yeah.
not say.
He doesn't
Yeah, I'm
have
just-
that listed.
So there's just those small little things that are just.
Well, they also sent me a link once I did the house. They sent me a link that I could download their little app on my phone, which kind of has all the stuff I need for check-in. So I'm going to put that on there too, and that may actually give me a lot of the information too. But I actually got an email from the dude who owns the house, so I'm just going to email him back.
Okay, so let me see if this. Sometimes I put the wrong PayPal thing, and then they yell at me, and so I think I need to like make it like a gift or something, right? So they don't ping you, they don't ding you
For say
for
what now?
PayPal when I send the money.
No,
So
I don't think they do.
pay or send money.
Yeah, you'd want to send money.
Yeah, pay for good. No, it's send to friends and family.
Yes.
Yes. Because one time I did the goods or services, and they were wanting to ding the take a percentage.
Ew.
This says here, it says public transportation friendly, including inexpensive Blue Indy electric powered vehicles.
Huh.
What is TM Blue Indy? What does
I don't
that
know. You'd
mean?
have to look that up. I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
TM Blue Indy? Huh. But yeah, it does say that it's public transportation friendly.
Okay.
194, blah, blah, blah. You've been paid.
Yay! I'm paid. Nice.
So yeah, if you have any problems, ping me, right?
Will do. But I don't think probably won't be an issue. So, all right, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. I'm going to go ahead and give my buddy a call.
Yeah, go deal with your buddy and everything. Okay.
Okay, buddy. Take care.